Hello, hello, everyone.
Hey,
Let's go, Daniel.
man, how are you?
Killing, man. I was in like, I went to get checked out for LASIK, and my appointment was at 3, and there's just one thing after another, and I just barely made it to the office. So that's how my
Oh.
last has been going. But other than that, pretty good. How 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 are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm just without internet. I'm actually using my hotspot right now because I switched over to Frontier fiber optics, and after 2 days, it like crapped out.
Eek.
And they're like, "Yeah, we can set someone out in 2 days." I'm like, "Awesome."
Yeah. Well,
So
hopefully
I'm
you don't
using my hotspot right now.
yeah. Hopefully you don't glitch out or we don't glitch out too much for you. Um, Cam, Kyle, MJ, Jorge, Michael, how's everybody doing?
Hey, good, good.
Yo, what's
Well,
up?
doing well. Let's go. We got a full house today.
Nice.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll get started. So so first of all, like I just typed out the order that we have: MJ, Jorge, uh, Daniel, Cam. Does anybody in here have to get going? Like, is everybody kind of sort of in a rush? And
I'm
also,
not
Jorge,
I'm not in
Jorge,
a rush, but I'm gonna dip out of here at like what time is it? In
Most
an hour.
likely
So we
me.
get
okay,
time.
okay, cool. Yeah, we got time then. Um,
I,
and
I, I don't know how long my hotspot will last. I've been using it for the past 2 days.
okay.
And it's already slow. So just letting you know that if I drop out, that's probably why.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm just sneaking in here trying to find where I can have the meeting before I sneak out.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, it sounds pretty chill then. Everybody sounds pretty chill. So in that case, let's just go ahead and hop on in. MJ, how's it going, man?
Going okay. My call got rescheduled for tomorrow, so I'm not having it right away anymore, but so far so good. Been practicing the sales training, since our last conversation for the most part. Um I've been trying to, put down some scripts and, just recite them and get them into me a little bit better. The only thing I was wondering is I know that the video, like when Kyle, sorry, I don't know if it's Kyle, the guy that's doing the training, he keeps saying like the scripts will be available for download and all that kind of stuff. So I was just wondering, like, is it anywhere? Because most of the time I'm typing them out to make sure that I can, have them down in my own template and, kind of go through the flow. But is it already available to download so I don't have to type out some stuff?
So what are you specifically speaking
The
about?
same, the objection handling scripts and stuff like that in the sales training part of the course.
Um, so like the script for the objection handling, like step by step, what to be said.
Right, like the like he usually like presenting like a Word document of sorts when he's going through it in the YouTube video. Yeah.
Okay, so you're looking for the document that he's going over.
Yes, essentially.
I think I have it somewhere. I should have it somewhere. If you message me, MJ, what I'll do is I will just remind message me and that'll keep it on top of my mind to try to find
Okay.
it in your way. But I believe I have it somewhere. Also, what I did, I think I shared that with you, is like I just created my own version of it as well.
Yeah.
And I just have it like on my sales template. It's at the very, very bottom that I
I can
just
use yours too. I know when I scroll all the way to the bottom, I don't think I saw yours in the one that we downloaded in Go High Level though.
correct, correct.
Yeah,
It's a
okay. Okay.
so
Yeah.
yeah, just message me and I'll get both those over your way.
Okay. Yeah.
Um what else you got for
Yeah,
us?
sure thing. Other than that, I think I have a few more sales call. I have one tomorrow, so I rescheduled one for tomorrow with the live production person that I spoke about, doing lighting and sound for events and stuff like that. So I've just been like, cracking my head around like putting together what the demo might look like that would make sense for them. I also have a karaoke person. Yeah, so that's gonna be interesting because I have to think about what I demo for them as well. and then I have an auction house. Um, so that's also interesting. Um, so yeah, I think the next, oh, and I have a bookkeeping business as well. So those are the hopeful four. There are actually three this week, and then one of them is next week, Monday. Sorry, I don't know how I lost my voice there. So yeah, I'll just be, putting those demos together and, trying to make sure that all that is ready to go. And I think that's as much as I have for right now, other than just practicing sales call and the onboarding piece, I think was the other question that I had. Um, I had Slack set up, but I know that there's probably more I need to do in terms of what I will send the client once I close the deal. But I haven't visited that part of the course yet to know exactly what I should be doing after I close. So
Cam, you raised your hand. Did you have a question or a comment that you wanted to
So I had a comment for MJ. MJ, do you have an iPhone by any chance?
I have one for work.
Okay, so if you go on that training, the YouTube training, and you take a screenshot of the script that he has,
You can
then
long press on
iPhone
it
has an
and
option,
do the
yeah, and then you
texting.
select the
Right, right,
text, copy, paste it,
right,
and
right.
yeah, so you don't have to
Should have thought
type
of
it.
that for Android too. Yeah, that makes sense. I could do that.
Yeah.
I could do that. That makes sense.
It's cheat code.
Yeah.
So in terms of so I do want to touch on like the sales calls you have this week and then next week. Before we get into that though, in terms of the onboarding, um, the process changes once you niche down, as we say a million times. But for now, what I feel like the easiest thing to do for you guys is just on the sales call, focus on just getting the transaction, right? So send out a Stripe link, whatever's easiest, whether you don't have to build out a page and take payment, whatever's easiest for you. If you use Honeybook, whatever you've been using up until now to collect payment, whatever's easiest for you, just do that. If something you've been doing up until now that's been very easy for you, just do that. And then in terms of onboarding, there's two kinds of onboarding. There's like the technical onboarding, which is like getting them to get access, getting them to send you access to their Facebook, their Instagram, their ad account, answering some questions. This is like a technical onboarding. And then there's the onboarding, which is like the mindset onboarding. It's like just ensuring they have proper behavior, all that stuff. This is the most important call. The most important call is going to be your sales call. The second most important call of any interaction you have is going to be this call. It's going to be the onboarding, where you set proper expectations, all that stuff. So what I always tell people to do is for the very first close that they make, do this onboarding first. So as soon as you collect the payment, schedule something out to do the onboarding. And that onboarding, what you're going to do is you're just going to model the onboarding that I did with you. So you'll take the onboarding page that you have within your Slack and you'll make a copy of it and you'll tweak it based off of who you're having a conversation with, and you'll just do your best. And it's just a learning experience. Once you've done that, then you're going to get them to give you access to their Facebook, their Instagram, and all that stuff. And the way this is created, there's a week how to onboard your client. And basically you just watch those videos, and those videos will show you how to build out that. It's a small little funnel. It'll take you, up to 2 hours to build it out yourself. And so that's like videos and then questions and videos and questions. And so you'll basically help them with that. So that's my recommendation. So do this one, send them a link, get them to do this one. If they have issues, hop on a call with them and help them navigate this.
Okay. So like on the day that you schedule out the onboarding, once you walk them through it, you kind of let them know that they'll receive a link after that meeting where they would be able to put in those technical details after the meeting. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
And if you want to watch this part back, SOP would be this. SOP would be, if I were in your shoes, if you have downtime, watch the content on how to onboard your client. Step 2, if you have free time, build it out. If you don't have time to build out, it's okay. You can just pull up my version of it, my page, my face. And then step 3 is, do the sale, do the transaction, and then schedule out the onboarding. The next step is do the actual onboarding. Somewhere on the onboarding, you walk them through that page and say, hey, here's a video, here's a question, here's exactly what you need to do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's what I would do. And as with everything, it's a learning experience. It's never smooth. It's never ever
Yeah,
smooth.
I know. I can already expect that happening very terribly.
It's not terrible. It's definitely a little bit of a dance.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I just
that
want to make sure I got a sense of what to do so that like because I know based on the last thing that I watched, it's like make sure you book out the onboarding as soon as you can. So in my mind, I'm thinking if I close today and I get to book out tomorrow and I have no idea what I'm doing tomorrow, it's like giving myself some kind of padding to know exactly what I need to do once that time comes and make sure that it's at least confidence inspiring for the most part. Yeah.
so um oh, there was my mistake at the very beginning. So you can so actually let me do a double tie down here. So if I'm you, MJ, come in here, come into your onboarding, make a copy of it. Step two, um come inside the course, how to onboard your client. And you can either start building the stuff out, watch it and build it, watch it build. It'll take you, yeah, it'll take you up to 2 hours. Or you can just, again, use my template, the one that's in my face for the time being, and you don't have to worry about filming anything right now until you actually close. After you close, well, then you'll have like 24 hours to film it and create it. Main thing is just focus on building this one out. Build this one out.
Yeah. I
Should
think
be
that
very,
would be the easiest path.
because this one is the most important. This step right here is not nearly as important.
Okay.
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 Before we talk about your sales calls, what else do you have for us?
Yeah, I think next would just be the sales calls, I guess.
Okay. So what week is this in terms of your sales calls? Like full week of, hopping on calls, doing discovery and sales calls. Which week is this for you?
This would be week 3.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, week 3.
So this week right now is going to be your week 3, or you just wrapped up week 3?
This would be my week 3. I've had 2 sales calls ultimately in 2 weeks. Week 1 was the first one, and then week 2 was the second one. So this would be the week 3. This would be the beginning of the week 3.
So usually in my experience, what I see is people are just kind of figuring things out week 1. It's very sloppy and just trying to get comfortable. Then week 2, you're getting more comfortable. And then usually by week 3, typically I like to see a close. I like to see something, whether it's a paid in full, a monthly payment plan, anything, just something. So essentially I had this conversation with Daniel as well a few weeks ago when he was around the same time as you. And I said that let's take this week and really try to close something. And so again, I know, for example, you did a $2,000 per month, and then if not 5,000 paying for whatever. What I would say is if you want to lower the barrier of entry, lower the barrier of entry a little bit, make it a little bit easier on yourself to close. But I want to take this week to see something, and then we'll reevaluate at the end of this week. Most likely, either you're going to close or we're going to make some kind of a pivot by the end of this week, just to stay on pace.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Because
Yeah.
this is a healthy amount. Like 3 weeks in, it's like either you're closing or you feel really comfortable. You understand everything that I need you to understand. You might not close yet, but you at least understand what I need you to understand in terms of like speed to lead, how to nurture people, how to systematize this whole process, which is a lot, as you know, building a lot of systems, building a lot of behaviors and all that stuff. It takes about 3 weeks to get there. And so I feel confident that you've gotten there. Of course, I'd like to see a close as well.
Yes.
Thoughts
Yeah.
on that?
Yes, I want to close too.
What are your thoughts on kind of like letting week 3 kind of be our finale before we make some kind of a decision, kind of pivot from there? Do you
I
feel
think it's a good one. Hopefully provided. So from our last week, or not last week, but our last discussion when I was speaking with I don't know if it was Kevin that was on the call too. I forget the name now. I'm hoping that I could actually have all shows for the sales call this week. That I think that would give me the most amount of reps. Because I mean, two is good. Like I've learned, a little bit with two, but it'd be nice to have all three this week. So my plan right now is to make sure that I put that nurturing piece in place. So literally after this call today, I would go like make some videos, nothing too crazy for the other leads that I, figured that I could be able to add in some value for them leading up to the sales call, just to be able to help nurture that a little bit so that I could have, hopefully get them to show up for that. But yeah, like, hopefully if I get at least like two this week, I think it's a good finale, or it's a good, a wrap up for the time being. So yeah, I think it's a good idea.
How many sales calls do you have scheduled for this week if everybody shows up?
I have three, and then one would be on the beginning Monday next week. So three this week. Yeah.
So basically four. We have four more attempts. So four,
Yeah.
5, 6. So you'd have about 6 reps at that point, which is a healthy number. Okay. So my question to you was simply this: is like I don't want to rush it for you, but I also want to keep us on pace, right?
Yes.
So my question to you really was from a place of like, are you content with this week, or would you like to do an additional week and let's do another week next week and keep doing the same thing? That was kind of my question to you.
Yes.
If you
Yes.
wanted to slow it down, we can certainly slow it down. We could do another week if you don't close this week.
I think I would be content with this week for sure. I think I'll be content with this week for sure. Yeah, like even though some people that hadn't come in, like just consistent. It's weird, but like you almost get a sense of like when I'm watching the courses over and over again, and I'm playing out scenarios in my head, is before I get the no call, no shows, I'm like, primed with the questions and the things that I need to be able to do too as well. And it's just having them. So I think this week will be good. Will be good for me. Yeah. Yeah.
My fingers are crossed for you. Things happen fast.
Thank you.
How are you feeling overall?
I feel good. I feel good. That last call, like I think I mentioned to you, right? Like the first one, like the first Cairo one, now like in hindsight, I'm like, I really could have still closed regardless. The first thing I know I didn't do right was just making sure I did that double tie down, because when they said no, um, just knowing that it was financial, not because they didn't know that this was the thing that they wanted to do, right? Which was kind of like a bummer for me, like watching it back after knowing what I know now in terms of how to be able to do that and just push the finances aside and just make sure that this is exactly, what they want to do and they're sure about it. And then finding another alternative, because that was the only thing that I know in my mind that was like hindering her, because she even mentioned like, I love to work with you and, stuff like that. But like I think the initial pitch was 6,000, no, right? They have 1 to 10 things, are ready to go. So either a profit share deal, right? In that, or even when you mentioned, so like a free trial or something, I could have done something for sure. For sure. She was probably even easier to have closed if I knew what to do, right? Second person, definitely better, like in attempting to tie down for sure. But my Achilles heel was just zooming out of the conversation and hearing that they were jumping between excuses and just being able to like actually double tie down again, which I didn't do. I know, my brain was foggy a little bit there. And yeah, I mean, I did book the follow-up call in quotes. So, maybe I'd still be able to just tie down and see if I can go for some kind of a close with them eventually, that if, that ends up happening. But yeah, I felt good about that, but I know I could have also done even better, which I guess is what this week has been all about for me. Just trying to make sure that I can, zoom out, understand like the situations and be able to handle the objections better. So yeah.
So the first one, you believe what? So the first one, you're saying that it was a financial objection. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But didn't you say that the issue that she had was that based on her location, you cannot run an ad with a discount?
I just mentioned that. It wasn't like I just mentioned that as in a shock for me that I didn't know that that was a limitation as it related to their industry. So I would have had to have got, because even while I was walking it through with her and she was letting me know that I can't do this, I can't do that, I was still saying, we'll figure out what the offer will be. Right. And she was still fine, like being able to like, yeah, we're kind of like talking it through. Right. So even though that was a limitation, it didn't affect the call in a sense of like, oh, this is not going to work for you. I was still able to speak with her and let her know that, yeah, okay, I didn't know, I wasn't aware of that because she was asking me where these ads were run and whether they were inside Regina, like Saskatchewan, my province. And I'm like, no, it wasn't, right? It was somewhere else. It's like, oh yeah, like that won't fly here. I'm like, oh, okay. Not to worry, we'll figure out what the offer will be. And I kept pushing. So I kept continuing regardless of that. So that was just a mention to me with you guys. Like I didn't know that was even a thing. But when we got to the financial objection, that was really the problem. It wasn't even whether or not the offer or any, at least what I think, right? It wasn't even what the offer or whatever would have been because she still wanted to work with me, but it was a financial objection. It wasn't even anything else, right? So that's why I felt like, yeah, I could have still closed on that.
So the uncertainty doubt objection is uncertainty doubt that something will actually work for someone because one, it works externally, and then two, it will work internally for them. And then three, right now is the right time. So what I mean by that is the 6 figures and 6-week free video commercial offer, right? One, there's two parts of it. There's the external. Does it actually work? Do people believe it actually works? That's one part. But then the other part is, do they believe they can make it work for themselves? So that's what it means. Does it work objectively? Does it work? Will it work for me? So people need to believe both of those. And then the third belief that they need to have is, I need to do it right now. So if you can answer those three questions, then you don't have an uncertainty doubt objection. And that's what I was trying to ask you this question to kind of help you determine yourself. Is it truly an uncertainty doubt? Because if it's if somebody says the ads won't work in this location or that location, what are they saying? That they're saying objectively it won't work. And that becomes an uncertainty doubt objection, not a finance objection.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. That does. That does.
Those are the three things you want to always ask yourself. Do they believe objectively it works? Do they believe it will work for them? And why will it work for them? Because they're smart enough, because they have enough money, because they have enough staff, because of whatever reason, right? Like, for example, there are certain problems I have in my business right now about scaling, for example. And I have all these mentors and gurus and coaches, and I know that their stuff works, but I know it won't work for our business. Does that make sense? So I know it works, but I know it won't work for my business because of my lifestyle and what I've got going on. So does it work objectively? Does it work for me? Can I make it work? And then do I need it right now? If the answer is not yes to all of those with a green flag, then you have an uncertainty doubt objection. You must fix that. And that's the most difficult thing to do. Finance is rarely the actual objection, I would say, MJ. Because why? When it comes to finance, the question is, do they have the ability, not the willingness to get the money, the ability. And most people do. They have it in their savings, they have in their checking, they have on their credit card, they have a business line credit, they ask a friend, right? It's like me saying, hey, this is a Lamborghini that's worth 300,000. I'm selling for 50,000 because I need to, or else I'm going to go to jail. And that's why it's the deal. No matter what, everybody on this call is going to figure out how to get that money. Right. And so as you laugh, I'm making light of the situation, but that's how you know it's not a financial objection. So that's the reality. That's how you want to view the lens through. Now, all that to say, if it is a financial objection, I'm going to give you a little cheat code right now. So here's something you can do. And I've kind of gone over this on previous calls. What you do is you call up everybody at the end of the month. You can still do this. You call everybody up at the end of the month, or you can even text them to get them on a call. Say, hey, John Doe, Jane Doe, look, we have a quota that we try to meet at the end of every single month or at the end of every single quarter. And we're falling a little bit shy of that. And so that's why we wanted to go and reach out to you and make you an exclusive offer. So I know that when we spoke last time, we said that the offer was this amount for this amount. And to me, it sounded like this is the maximum you could do. If you are open to this, and again, we are trying to make this quota right now. And so we've got about 48 hours to make this happen. But if you're open to this, we can go and honor that for you. So that's how you would do a proper price drop. You have urgency, you have scarcity, you have the price drop. So what you can do, MJ, this week is you can follow up with each of those people, both those people, the chiropractor as well as the personal trainer, and you can make that kind of an offer. You can either text them to get them on the call, or you just straight up call them and pitch that. And if it truly is a financial objection, what I will say is that they will take it.
Yeah. that's how I would know for myself too, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Thoughts on that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Give it a
Sounds
shot.
good.
Give it a shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Questions, comments, concerns, thoughts?
None that I can think of right now, other than just chilling out on the for the rest of the call until something else comes up, I guess.
So
Yeah. I might, I don't know, depending on how bad my headache gets, I might I might end up just taking Advil and then going to bed at some point. But yeah, I'm feeling like a migraine is coming down right now. I can power through it most of the time, especially when I have something to do. But yeah, it can get really bad.
no, if you don't feel the best, you're of course under no obligation to hang out with us.
It's all good. It's all
Um,
good.
yeah, I just want to share those things with you. I know it's a bit challenging, and I know I'm challenging you, and I'm challenging some of the thoughts and everything, but like that's my job, and I wouldn't be
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, I'm here for it. So I'm definitely here for it. Yeah. I don't know. I guess other than that, would you happen to know any I'm still probably doing my research anyways, but if there are any funnels or strategies that you might know for either of these other calls coming up? So I think the only other one that makes sense would be like the bookkeeping service. Um and the karaoke. I For the audiovisual person, I definitely think like lead forms would be the best. It's kind of like what makes sense to me. Like you probably do an offer, an ad. My thoughts are targeting, maybe like event planners or houses of worship, because that's also where most of their revenue comes from. And you're either doing, some kind of like promotion or a free consultation, for example, for the house of worship is what I, wrapped up with Gemini, just trying to figure out like what can I design here. And then do a lead form, get on a consultation call, and then maybe book a time to actually like, talk things through and do a demo or whatever the case may be for their stuff. So that's what I thought through for that one. But the other two I haven't thought about anything yet for. So if there are any thoughts or ideas, I'd be open to
So
chopping that up with anybody.
tell you something I would say that's more important than that, which is this is like, and this is the part that's like the challenging part, which is like my goal for you guys in doing this is to help you sell ice to an Eskimo, right? Sell ice to an Eskimo.
Yeah, yeah,
Sell water to a fish, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's my ultimate goal. So what I mean by that is like my goal is to help you guys be able to sell pretty much anything. And so what I will tell you is that whenever you share an actual strategy that is winning, that is proven, right? Something that's proven, right? So if you were to share the 6 figures to 6 week sales funnel with somebody, then it's going to be easier to sell something that's proven because it's actually proven. You don't have to
yeah,
pull anything out of your head and make anything up or whatever and make it just it's sexy because it works. And so step one is always try to find something that works and then pitch that. And then when it comes to, and when you can't find something that works for sure, well, then you're kind of just, your job is just to sell ice to an Eskimo. Your job is just to
yeah,
make it sound sexy. And you don't actually know whether it's going to actually even work or not. And that's not
yeah,
the point.
yeah,
Um, in all of these cases, like all of the niche that you've explained to me, there's not something that jumps out at me. That's just the honest truth.
yeah, yeah,
And so it's you being
yeah,
creative, you exercising those
yeah,
selling ice to an Eskimo skills.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that makes sense. I expected that would be the case, but I just thought I'd give it a shot anyways. But yeah, I'm sure I can pull something out of my ass. Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anything else you got for us, MJ?
Yeah, so far so good. I think I'm good.
Keep us posted, man.
Yeah.
Let's try to do, if it's not too much work, like a daily check-in this
Yeah.
week, and really
Yeah.
try to put things in and kind of make a decision by the end of this week, or by
Yeah.
by Monday, by your last sales call.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. I have my reminders set up, so I would be able to.
And please, do those follow-ups. The one with the chiropractor and the personal trainer. Again, if you take either of those people and you're able to close them, then we're good as well. So
Yeah.
those two counts. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
All right, MJ. Well,
Yeah.
if you have questions, let us know. If not, and you have to bounce the head, hopefully you feel better soon.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. I'll just switch over the call right now. So thank you.
All right. Jorge, what's going on, man?
Yo, what's up? Let me know if it's a little bit too loud and I'll keep muting myself.
It's good. When you just turn it on, it's a little bit loud, but I think when you talk, it's fine. So first of all, congratulations, man. Congratulations
Thank
on
you,
that deal, bro. I know it's,
sir.
how much, what'd you close the deal for?
It was 1,500.
Okay, 1,500. Is it a one-time thing that you're selling him on, or you put him on like retainer, or what did you kind of?
So it's two guys. They're young dudes, so they're younger than me. They're 23 and 22. But they just opened up a Taekwondo school in Minnesota.
Okay.
And it's 1,500 3-month retainer. So 1,500 a month for 3 months.
Nice.
And then from there we negotiate after the end of 3 months, basically the 3 months of the PIF or continue to the months.
Okay, cool. Good stuff. Congratulations, man. I asked you a question in our Slack. I guess like before we hop into this, I'm just curious, like what do you feel like was like the biggest driver or big difference between like your last sales call versus this one? Like the last one that ended up pulling out last minute. Like what happened different with these guys? Do you feel like did you do something different or
Yeah, I don't know if you saw when I answered it, but
did you? Um,
basically I didn't think I did much difference than like when I got these guys come in, the notification, like right away, I called them up that first like minute. And then from there, they're like, "Oh wow, that was fast." So, like I'm like, "Yeah, I'm at my desk, so I'm like, I'm always ready to go." So they were impressed by that, and I just felt more confident on the sales call. My flow was better. I wasn't as in my head. I just feel like I'm like, yo, I actually got experience doing this shit, so like I know what I'm talking about now. So I had more conviction for sure, and I think I was less attached to the outcome. I was like, man, you know what? Like, I'm gonna just do my best. If they don't close and whatever. But that was more mental. As far as like physically, like what I did differently, nothing much.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, sometimes it's just, you can say the exact same thing, do the exact same thing, and then different people are in different chapters of their life, you know what I mean? So it's very well possible. Did you record the call?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll try to skim through it then and check it out, see if there's anything I notice. Um, so all right, cool. Let's go into your question. So going over the recent close. If there's anything. Okay, so question that I can answer for you. So in terms of your recent close onboarding and next moves for new client, like I guess what are your questions regarding this one?
I don't know if I actually have any question. I think that was more just like I was just updating you on what was going on.
Okay.
As far as questions for them, nothing really. They're newer school. They just opened up 2 months ago. So I guess my first question like would be, would I change the angle of the copy from like the regular copy that I would use to something more like a grand opening special? Would that make much of a difference or not?
Nobody needs to know if it's a grand opening or not. Like you can have a gym that's like 5 years old and still call it grand opening. Like that's just marketing. Nobody needs to know. That doesn't make a difference.
All right, cool. Then yeah, that's really the only question for
Yeah,
that.
just do what works. And here's the thing: if you're niche down on this, like shit, maybe you test that out. Maybe try to figure out a grand opening strategy so that every single time you take on a client, there's a grand opening campaign you run for like 3 weeks. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
But like but if I were in your shoes, I would lead with what I know is proven to work for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
What else did you
Yeah,
have?
so there's no real questions on this client. Just updating you on that. For for
And
Adam, I had a call with him last week and basically just kind of like a 30-day update call slash like, uh, he had some questions about the whole system, like the process for like what my responsibilities are versus what the responsibilities are of the staff members.
Okay.
And basically so one of the things that he mentioned to me was that he wanted to exclude certain area code. Basically, like since we're downtown and I put the 5 mile radius, it picks up the entire south side and west side. And that's basically like it's the ghetto side, right? It's a little bit more ratchet, and it's like lower income, but the quality of the leads is definitely more affected than like where our clientele is, which is mainly the higher income areas downtown and the north side. So he was asking me, is there a way to exclude certain area codes for basically get rid of those people?
There is. Yeah, so there's a few different things you can do, and this is I was just kind of like hovering on this to try to show you. Let me see if so there's two things you can mess around with. One is the zip code, the other is the income. So if this will let me click on anything here. I don't know why it's not. Okay. Yeah, so you can go into, and you can, so here's where you are, where you said the 5 mile radius, and then you can go to add exclusions. And then you put the zip code, or you can like drop a pin. So I could probably come, actually, let me. So I could drop a pin and say I wanted to, exclude this part, for example. I could do that. My stuff is being weird, just the way I've set up my ad set. But that's what you would do. You could drop a pin to exclude a certain like place, and then you can kind of like feather it out depending on where exactly you don't want it. Another thing you can do is when it comes to your targeting, you can like exclude people in a certain like income, I think. Or either I'm not sure if you can exclude people in a certain income, but what you can do is you can include people in a certain income, right? So either you do the pin thing to exclude people. I'm sorry, you can do the pin thing to exclude people, or you can drop this like the location exclude people. So those are two different ways. And then the third way is going to be to like exclude a income level, which I don't know if you can do, but I know for sure what you can do is you can include the income levels that you want. So those are 4 different kind of things you can mess around with. Personally, what I would do is I would do this stuff. I would just like drop a pin and just not do the location that you know for sure you don't want.
Okay. That's what I was gonna ask. Is there a hierarchy that you would do first?
That's what I would do.
Okay. And then when I'm doing this, do I need to duplicate the ad set and then go and make this change?
It's a good question. Okay. Oh, actually, yeah. So remember the rule. What's the rule? If something is working, what's the rule? Touch it. Touch it. Yeah, exactly. So the question becomes, is it working or not right now?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, then don't. I wouldn't touch it. I would duplicate that in that case. Yeah, I would duplicate it and then make the changes in the new ad set.
Gotcha. So if it wasn't working, if we weren't getting leads, then go in that same ad set, change it up.
Yeah, if you wanted to. If you want.
Okay.
Does that help in terms of your
Yeah.
question right now?
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly what I was looking for.
Perfect. What else did you have for this one with Adam? Anything else?
We talked about like splitting responsibilities, like what I'm responsible for versus what the staff is. Because there's a lot of things slipping through the cracks. Like, for example, their lead sheet versus my lead sheet, and like his wife is also handling like the organic leads that people that sign up through the website. And so she was a little confused on like, okay, am I hitting them up only me, or should she hit them up as well to follow up like the day of, I guess, like normal process for the gym? And then in addition to that, should the sales representatives also be hitting them up? And so the solution we came up with was just me handling like absolutely everything up until the moment that they actually get to the mats. So I just want to make sure that that is is that the best way to go about it without kind of like stretching myself too thin?
Yeah, I feel like you're gonna know the right answer after you do a few reps. That's just the truth. Like you're gonna know after you do a few reps. Now, if I were in your shoes, what I would do is I would do even the mats. Remember? Because what we spoke about is like doing one-on-one versus groups and trying to see if you could convert people at a higher conversion rate. I
Yeah,
would be as hands-on as I could be. If I were in your shoes, I would be as hands-on as I could possibly be to learn everything. And then once you have figured that out, then you create systems, course material process, and you share it with them. So that you can,
gotcha.
step one for me is always, step one for me, I always do stuff myself as opposed to testing with other people because it's just so much faster. Step two is I figure out how do I remove myself entirely from the picture. So in other words, if I'm you, like when you have say when Adam says like, what is your response versus mine? You should have no responsibility if you're doing it the right way. And your only responsibility is like weekly calls. That's the right way to do it. Does that make sense? So step one, get as involved as possible. Step two is remove yourself all the way. Because once we go into, you're gonna get like all these other jujitsu clinics, like you want to do as little as possible. You want to sign somebody up, set the odds up, and then they go through course material. They have everything. They have weekly calls with you. That's it. That's the ideal situation.
Okay. So for now, then just handle as much as I can, and then from there systematize to basically remove myself.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Okay.
But remember, you're not doing it just to do it, man. You got to be very,
Yeah.
it's very point you're of the right mindset, very intentional with like every single time I'm doing this. I'm not just doing this for the, like, just doing it, passing time. Every single person I'm trying with my blood, sweat, tears to figure out how the fuck I convert this person and how much I can learn from it, document it. Every single person is like a case study for you. Yeah. Does that answer your question, bro?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, eventually, like they should be like you should be running the ads, they should be following up the leads, they should be doing everything. They should have like one person that hits up the leads, that same person they follow up like 24 hours before, an hour before, or like have two staff members, like they should have everything set up, but they're doing it all happening.
Hold on one second. Let me change my location. So my laptop. All right, sorry about that.
No, you're good, bro. Were you able to hear that last part?
You said that make sure that they're able to do everything pretty much, and then like I'm just hopping on calls with them, coaching them.
Yeah. So what I was saying is like, when like somebody from their team should be following up with all the leads, organic or inbound, and then doing a 24-hour follow-up, 1 hour follow-up, all that stuff. Like somebody from their team should be, yeah.
Okay, that's the goal, right? But like right now, I feel like that's a little bit more like almost like far-fetched. Like, how am I able to like not force them, but like coach them through it so they can actually do everything themselves?
I think they can do it. I think most people just don't know how to. I think most people don't know how to onboard the right way. Most people don't know how to market the right way. Most people don't know how to set proper expectations. Like I just don't. That's what I truly believe. I don't think it's rocket science. I don't think what Jay told you is true, or at least not that it's not true. I just don't think he knows any better. I don't think he knows how to set proper expectations and get people to buy in, all that stuff.
Okay. So it's like just keep chipping away at them.
Yeah. First, you got to figure out. Once you figure out, then if you tell me, here, coach, once you figure it out yourself, and then you can show me, like, yo, coach, here's how it works. Then once I know that, I can help you figure out how to create the course material and set proper expectation, all that stuff. I just need you to first figure out how the whole machine works. So I can help you once you get to that stage.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I think Mason, this is a Mason question. So next moves for the funnel, should I kill the other ad sets and keep on the lead form alive? I've been getting leads. So the deal that just came, you're saying that deal came from the calendar page?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just pull up some numbers here. Are your numbers up to date or no?
Yeah, I just updated them.
Okay. Um, So May 1 through 7, you spent $300. Oh my God. So this is what you meant. It cost you $300 to get that call?
No, so in the miscellaneous notes section, you can see like that lead that I closed came from April 19th. And my question was, should I update everything to reflect that
Yes.
week only?
Yes. So if you close somebody, like let's say let's say you close somebody this week, but then ad spend is from this week, technically the close is from here.
So I would go in and update like the closes on the side.
Yeah, so the close you would put in here. Right? So yeah, but still, yeah. So my assumption is that is this one, the one that says it's a book call, is that the one that you just closed then?
No,
So
no,
they
this the one that I closed was from April 15th to 20, no, April 8th to 14th.
April 8th to 14th.
No, I'm sorry. April 15th to 21. They came in on the 19th.
Okay, so they came on the 19th. Okay, so yeah, you basically put the close in here.
Okay.
So right now you're saying one close. I'm sorry, you're saying 0 closes. You're gonna put in one close there. And so your basically your return ad spend would basically pretty much be a 10x then, right? Like 10, 20, 20x, 20x, 30x, whatever it's gonna be. So this is healthy. Like this I like seeing, right? You're $40 per book call, $60 per book call, $60. So this is the part that I'm like, whoa, what the fuck's going on? This is insane. That's too high, way too high. So what are you saying that you think you should do and why?
So the 300, it was because in the 26th of April, that's when I started running the other 3 ad sets. So that was another like $60 that were adding up on a daily basis. So total $80. So that's why it's so high too, right? But still, like even then, I only got one book call from all that ad spend. So initially, my thoughts are to just run with the lead form because I'm getting so many leads. But then, like my thoughts go into okay, like all the leads I've gotten, I've called them up every single time, but nobody answers. Or they're just giving me like faulty phone numbers.
How
So
many
that's kind of where I'm stuck.
how many ad sets do you have going on right now?
4.
Okay. So can you pull up your ad sets and we can have a look real quick?
Yeah.
And also, Jorge, what you want to do, man, is you want to go into the calendar. I'm sorry, you want to go you know your Google Doc?
Yeah.
Can you click on your Google Doc real quick, bro? And then you want to go into funnel journal, right? Left. The one left.
Think it's blocking it.
There you go. And you want to update this, bro. So because like right now, like, because again, I'm doing this with you, I'm doing this with everybody. So it's hard for me to know what ad sets you have live, what you turn on, what you turn off. Like even right now, the reason I'm asking you to pull up your ad set is because I don't remember which ad sets we have and what we're doing here. So if you create like a journal, it'll tell me like, okay, I create this ad set. Here's what we're doing. Here's why we're doing it. So
Gotcha.
make sure you do this moving forward. This way, again, I'm on the same page as you. Because like right now, I gotta look at your assets and we got to figure out what's going on from scratch. So anyways, let's go back to your ads. Okay, so which one is the one that, oh, okay. So which one is, I remember now what we're doing. So which one is the one that's a lead form ad set?
This one right here.
Okay, let's put a check mark next to that. Just on the left. Okay, so we can go ahead and ignore that one for now. Actually, let's go ahead and scroll to the right and just like see the stats on that. So how many leads have you gotten so far? So you got 8 leads. So you're saying you got 8 leads, and every single time you call any of these people, it's nothing's happening. Yeah.
Correct.
And you're doing, I would assume double dials multiple times you've tried, and it's just like nothing's happening.
Yep.
Okay.
And as soon as they come in too, like right away.
Okay. And then the targeting, is that Jay's targeting?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you know like approximate how many leads turns into like a phone call for him by any chance?
That I not off the top of my head. I don't know if I got that information either.
Because I do if my memory's not mistaken, his cost per acquisition through the lead form is $300.
Yeah, yeah.
So is it where he's having the same situation as you, and it's just like when he gets to $300 of ad spend, he's having like 2 or 3 people pick up, and then he's closing one out of them? Is it possible that that could be what he's doing? And in other words, this could be completely normal. I don't know. Only Jay would know the answer to that. So I would write that down if I'm you, make a note of that, to ask that to Jay. Be like, hey, Jay, I've gotten 8 leads so far from the lead form. I was wondering how many leads equals 1 call. And then how many of those calls equals 1 sales call, and how many of those sales call equals 1 close. Literally watch this part back, 49 minutes and 39 seconds. Watch that part back, ask him those questions. And that will tell us whether this is normal or not normal. I don't know. If it's me, if I don't, so if this is normal, then you shouldn't touch it at all. But the thing is, I don't know if it's not normal. And so if you want to, what you would do if you thought it was not normal is I would kill that ad set and I would duplicate it and try it again and see if I could find a different pocket of people.
The lead
So
form.
yeah, the lead form one. So
What do you
we
think
could,
about? I would say, what do you think about if I did the lead form, but with my original target?
okay, good question. So let's look at these other 3 ad sets, right? So Jay's targeting, that's your video going to your calendar page. It's his targeting. What's the CPM on that one?
66.
CPM is 66, your CPM is 65. Okay. Click-through rate. So I'm not seeing anything amazing from his. Interest stacked flex target and then interest stacked flex to audience. What's the difference between these 2 audiences, these 2 ad sets?
So the only difference is there's no difference. There's one of them that we just duplicated.
Okay. Do you know where's the results? I'm wondering the call that you booked. Okay, it came from that ad set, the 3rd one down. Okay. Is that your original ad set for actually no, that's a newer one.
Yeah, let me see. That was the 19th. So it came from the original one.
Which one came from the original one?
The lead that I closed today came from the original ad set.
Can
I mean,
filter by
yesterday.
or filter by all. Actually, no. Filter by this week. Because what I'm wondering is like, again, you spent $300. The question becomes, where did the lead come from? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
So right
So
now,
so go back to your Excel sheet and go back to, yep. And then our date is May 1st to 7th. So let's filter from May 1st to May 7th. Okay. Now my question is, which ad set did that lead come from? So yeah,
This
it came from the newer one. That one.
but the guys that I closed,
No. I'm talking about the lead that just came in. The lead, because your Excel sheet says that you have one person that booked a call with you this week, right?
oh, okay, yeah, I was confused. Yeah,
So my question was like, well, where is that coming from? And it looks like it's this ad set.
yeah, the newer one.
Um, let's go all the way to the left and let's filter it by all time. Yep. So you spent $181 on that ad set to get a book call. It's expensive as fuck, man. How much did you spend on the ad set right below the 4.3? This one, yep. So 597 divided by 10. So that's saying it's $60. So what I would do for sure is I would definitely shut off that one that we have a check mark next to. Yep. Because that one, yeah, it's a duplicate. You're spending a bunch of money and it's not really yielding good results. Um, Jay's targeting, has that brought in any leads? So that's
One.
brought in one lead. And then how much did you spend on that one? Spent $140. That's not terrible. Um, filter the last 14 days. And then the interest stack one, let's see if you booked any calls. That one, yep. Let's see if you booked any calls the last 2 weeks. So three. So three, and how much have you spent the last 3 weeks? 225 divided by 3, $75. It's not bad. So what I would do is this. Jay's isn't doing shit. So let's go ahead and turn off Jay's as well.
The targeting or the lead form?
The targeting. Yep. And so the one that we have on right now is the one that you made the sale from today. It's getting relatively decent cost per book calls. Okay, we're chilling. The lead form above, you're saying that you had 8 people, nothing happened. Let's do a duplicate of that ad set, the one above, and then shut that off. And what are actually, let's scroll down. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. I'm just curious what I'm actually, if you go to your ads, I'm just curious what the questions are that you're asking the lead form. Get every month. Okay. Mason, do you typically do volume or higher intent? Higher intent?
I just do no. I just do more volume.
Okay.
How long has that ads been running?
Since the 23rd of April.
He got 8 leads, but he's not having any luck reaching out to any of those leads. And so my question was, would it be beneficial to switch it over to higher intent? Because I think that's what we do for dentists. Is Riviera here?
No, he's not he's not gonna be in here today. He's on a shoot right now. Um
Have you noticed a difference if have you tried high intent and does that make a difference for you,
I
Mason?
haven't. I actually have most of my luck using more volume. Um
Jorge, do you know if Jay does more volume or higher intent when he showed you this?
He did more volume.
Okay, well then in that case, we'll just leave it more volume for sure then. What are your questions? Oh, that's it. Okay, nothing else.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. So just you want a martial arts academy, yes or no? And then contact.
Okay. Cool. Let's just duplicate, just leave it for now and just see what happens.
He said clear this one, right?
Yeah. And let's just see what happens over the next 7 days with that lead form and see if maybe we can actually get a hold of some of these people. Aside from that, man, like if we were getting book calls for $100 and less with that ad set up top, like, I mean, that's pretty good. It's a little bit slow. I wish, we could be able to spend a little bit more money, but it's within KPI. And so I think that's good for now. Yeah.
Would it be worth it to increase it right now? The budget?
Huh?
Would it be worth increasing the budget right now, or you think it'll break again like the last time?
I I don't want to touch it because I don't want to break anything, you know what I mean? Um, and plus you haven't had something come in the last 7 days. You had 3 leads in the last 14 days, but you haven't had something in the last 7 days. Can you filter by the last 7 days? Yeah, so you haven't had some. So um I think we should just leave it for now. I don't want to, you're spending $20 here, $20 on the other ad set, and let's just kind of see what happens 7 days from now, week from now, and kind of figure out from there instead of like blowing through a bunch of cash. That's kind of where my head's at. Like I want to really see the lead forms pick up. I want to see that pick up. Um, you spend $129. And even then, I mean, if you're spending up to 150, yeah. If you're spending $100 and then you're able to get one person to have a conversation with you, like I think it's pretty solid. And it's pretty healthy. Okay. That's it in terms of like the ad stuff, I think, for now. What else did we have? So next we're gonna turn the funnel. Should I kill the other ad set? Keep it on. Okay. So we talked about that. Was there anything else I could help you out with, or do you just have the question for Mason at this point?
No, that's it. That's it. Next question is the technical question.
Okay. And then Mason, did you already answer that for him?
Yeah, just the only thing is like you have to, I know you're like getting like transferred over to a bot. Like there's a lot of ways that you can get around that. One of the main things that I do is like you'll have different options of what to choose, like to connect to an agent. Bro, it doesn't even matter what the issue is. I always choose billing because there's always someone that's on there that's like just trying to take your money. So like they're always gonna try to connect you with someone. So that's what I do. So go in there, go into billing, and then if you watch that video as well, like Jorge, did you get a drop down? It was like, what are you having trouble with? And there's like literally a thing that says help increase your ad spend by any chance or no?
Yeah. It didn't say it said directly like exactly what I was looking for, which was like increase your threshold. And I clicked on it, and then I feel like I was going to circles. Like I was doing the same thing over and over again.
I couldn't hear the last couple words. What were you saying?
I said I felt like I was going in circles. Like I was getting the same message over and over again.
You should try to use a different option, but that is how you do it. Plus, I know we were talking about it before, but like this is why I use PayPal. Another thing that I've like realized is like when you connect PayPal, like obviously use your card or whatever, their card, whatever. But if you use PayPal, it just makes this process 17 times easier because um, Facebook's never, or like your card will get paused if they see it's getting ran by Facebook, and that's why it'll like shut down. Or like that's what happened to your last client where it was like, I'm not approving these $2 payments every 5 seconds, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I use PayPal because your bank will see it's PayPal and then it'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. You know what I mean? It'll say PayPal to Facebook, and then it'll know what you're doing. So that's just one of the things that I do in order to help me out is just use PayPal. So that's something that's been beneficial for me. Um, why don't you send me a Loom video um, after today's call and just show me kind of what you're doing now to help you increase that daily ad spend budget? Is it like a hard limit or is it just like $2, $3 a day? You know what I'm saying? Like, is there a hard limit?
No, there's no hard limit. It started at $2, and we kept. I don't think I've even gone through like a whole like 1 day cycle, but now I've got it up to $5. But it's still
Okay.
pretty annoying.
All right. Yeah, because I have a client right now where his like budget's at like only 350 a month. So I'm kind of dealing with the same issue right now, but I will show you what I do to fix it, if that helps.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of going
Yeah.
through the same thing you are, but like I have a daily set limit to 350.
Oh, okay. The other option that I was gonna do was just like preload a certain amount of cash
Yeah,
into the account.
that's another thing you can do. Instead of being like, hey, take this amount a month, you could like it's basically like running ads on TikTok where you just put funds into the account first and then you run the ads. So that's always an option as well. So if you have like a monthly budget, you can just do that and then you won't get in, have these issues.
Okay. All right, I'll do that then.
Jorge, anything else you got for us, bro?
No, that's it. Just those questions, and they were answered already, and then just catching up. Then I'll get to work on the rest of the things.
Cool.
Thank you.
Welcome, bro. Daniel, how's it going, man?
Yeah, hey, I'm good. I just actually updated edited my comment there to include questions about the script.
Okay.
So the big thing is like, so the script you have is like edit, right? It's like saying, this ad right here generated 30 appointments. So I guess like, should I just omit that stuff and not include that for a brand new niche, or what do I?
No, you
What
just
should I be talking?
no, everybody starts from zero, Daniel. And so I guess this is the question you had asked last week, and we're at the same place. And so what I always tell people is just like, you need to have something in place. And then what we do is we revamp the marketing. So you need to have a placeholder for the time being, just have graphics on there just to kind of get the ad across. Once you close, like once you get results for your existing client, what we'll do is we'll revamp that ad and we'll revamp the thank you page testimonials. You just need some stuff in there for the time being, if that makes sense.
So I don't follow. So I thought, because the last message you sent me was like saying, hey, go through these steps. And so what you're saying is just use like a similar image creative, like I use for my free. So it's gonna be asking for Pilates, an image, well, like not an image really, just like text on screen, right?
Yeah. So like, for example, like the Pilates instructor that you had a conversation with, she told you like, hey, these are the ads that work. It's the free consultation. So you just basically create an ad and say, hey, this ad right here, generate X amount of results, whatever the Pilates studio told you. And you're just going to use that. And that's going to be good enough that it's going to get people to book a call with you. And that's all we care about. And then a month, 2 months down the road, once you've gotten results for your existing Pilates client, then you can plug it in, use the actual ad you create for if you would like to switch it up, or you can just run the existing ad.
Okay, I got it. So again, for clarification, I'm just using the text on a blank image, right? Saying the text saying what created or what got clients for this Pilates studio. What is it?
So you
I'm
just
asking.
So what you need to do is you just basically need to say this ad right here. So if you're going to use that ad, right, the template, you're just going to say this ad right here. And then whatever you're showing them, you create within Photoshop, Canva, whatever. You just make it look like an actual ad. Nobody is going to actually care what's in there.
Oh,
Nobody
okay.
it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter. That's not
That's what I'm thinking. So I'm still creating a video.
Yes.
Okay. I thought it was just the text on screen.
No.
Is what you were saying. Okay. Got
So
it.
you record yourself, you say this ad right here, you Photoshop and put together some kind of an image that looks like an ad, and that's it. That's all that matters. That's all you need to do.
Okay. Got it. That's basically it.
Verbiage about current ads that work. What should it be? What should it be with brand new niche? 30 clients in 60 days. Okay. So these kinds of questions are, this is where the market. So have you watched the video on doing market research yet, or you haven't gone there yet?
Yeah, when it talks about like reaching out to different owners in the area and walking with the camera and all that.
So that's like a way to do it. But the idea is that, so when you ask that question of like, hey, should you be offering 30 clients in 60 days or 20 leads in 30 days in your ad, right? That I don't have an answer. This is all the market will tell you. The market research will tell you. Another Pilates instructor where you can ask them like, hey, A, B, C, D, which one of these would you go for? And then they're going to tell you, oh, this is the one and then that'll tell you what your angle should be.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was asking because I didn't have that information yet. So I thought maybe you had an answer for that, but just leave it out.
What do you mean leave it out?
Well, you're saying that there's no answer for this until the market will answer, right? So the market hasn't answered yet.
So what is your definition of the marketable answer? Like, what does that mean to you? Like when you say that?
Like I either I get results or so I know, or I talk to an owner.
Exactly. The later, right?
Okay.
Because what you need to do, step one, is you need to find Pilates instructor, business owner, right? So that exact one that you had a conversation with, or other Pilates instructors, or better yet, both, right? Have that Pilates instructor that you had a conversation with, book out a conversation with four other ones, and then run through those research questions. And then one of the questions you ask them is like, hey, look, here's who we are. This is what we're doing. Which one of these would cause you to click on an ad? If I said 30 clients in 60 days or 20 leads in 60, like which one of those would you be more likely to click on? That's what I mean by market research. They will tell you the answer. Then you'll go and create your ads. You'll create your funnel. You create everything.
Right, but you're saying to create the ads before I do that. So that's why I'm asking, like, so I'm leaving that part out. No? Did I lose you?
Um, I, yeah, you lost me or I lost you. I think
Okay. So you're saying that the 30 clients in 60 days, 20 leads in 30 days, that's going to be a question to ask the owners, right? When I do my research. But the last message you sent me on Slack, you said, hey, don't worry about that right now. You need to just make the videos. Right?
So you ask questions to the business owner and then you make the video, because how do you know what to say in your videos if you don't even know like what they want to hear? Step one, you have to figure out what they want to hear. Step two, then you film the content. So let's figure out like, so basically you have to build your client acquisition funnel, right? That's the most important thing, your client acquisition funnel, which is basically how you get consistent leads, right? That's the number one thing. And so what does it look like? It's an ad. They click on it, it goes to a calendar page, and then from there, there's a thank you page. Right? This is what the
Right.
generic funnel looks like, right? So we have an ad, and then from there, we go to this page, and then from there, we go to this page, right? So the question becomes, well, how do you even know what the heck to say in your ad? How do you know what the heck should be on this page right here? How do you know? The only way to know is to have a conversation with a business owner and tell them like, hey, here's who I am. This is what I'm doing. What would what would be appealing for you to make you want to click on my ad? All that stuff. Like you're basically doing market research. You're asking Pilates instructors information so that you're asking questions. Once you have answers, now you can actually create your ad. Now you know what the headline should be on your opt-in page. Does that make
Yeah.
You have to do the research first and then you create this stuff.
Okay. I got something totally different from what you told me on Slack there, but okay.
Yeah, so maybe
Um,
it's a miscommunication inside of Slack, or maybe we're talking about.
okay. I'm sorry, but I have a maintenance guy that's knocking on the door right now.
Sure, sure.
Um, but
You-
I think I'm done. I think that's it.
okay, cool. Sounds good. If you need
Okay.
anything, let us know, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Camilo,
What's going on, Kashik?
chilling, bro, chilling. Okay, so you're actually, I'll just kind of, instead of asking you, I'll leave it open to you. What I guess aside from this question, what I wanted to do is actually wanted to ask like Kyle and some of the other guys like how many leads they got and what percentage of them got applications. But aside from that, what are some other questions that you had?
So I'm getting comments on the Instagram posts, especially, and it's people like, "Hey, I want to take advantage of this," and "Hey, I'd love to get a free video commercial for my business." But when you look into their pages, it's like, nail techs and car detailers. Um, I don't know, like someone that I think would not be a great lead. Is that something that you still want to push through a funnel so you can, get those reps in, but knowing that they're not good leads?
Yeah, so car detailer is a good lead.
It is?
Yeah, it's a really fucking good lead.
Okay.
I think there was someone that was making like 5K a month off one car dealer.
Car
Okay.
dealership, amazing. And then the other one you said was like a nail tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's not a bad neat lead either. It's not a bad niche
Okay.
either. Yeah. So first of all, like what I would say is like, and this is primarily exactly what it is. Like this is why you want to get the rep and to learn if something is a good or a bad lead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like push everybody through, bro.
Everybody. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
everybody. So even if somebody leaves a comment, even so if you think to yourself, I'm gonna push them in, what's gonna happen is gonna force you, Camille, to learn like, okay, I'm gonna leave a comment and then I'm gonna tell them to click the link and then they don't do it. Okay, now I know it doesn't work. The next person, I'm gonna like their comment, I'm gonna tell them to check their DMs, and then I'm gonna go to their DMs, I'm gonna leave a comment, and then I'm gonna leave a comment on one of their posts that, yo, go check your DMs. I'm gonna try that out, see if that works. And so you're gonna force yourself to do a bunch of different things. Like for me, for example, whenever I send anybody a DM, I did this with you. I did this with everybody because I learned this after doing a bunch of reps. Is I will DM them, hey, name, cool if I drop you a voice note below, and I send it 2 posts instead of one, and then I leave a comment on their very first post, and I say, hey, check your DMs,
Check
smiley
your
face.
DMs. Yeah.
It's an SOP I have, and that's the only way I know people will do the thing. And so that's what I'm saying is like if you take every single comment and you test stuff out, you're gonna learn what works for you. And then once you learn what works for you, then you just do that across the board for everybody.
Gotcha. Cool.
But yeah,
Awesome.
every single person.
That's good. And talking about SOPs, I got 8 leads from the Facebook ads, which was pretty cool. I called the first two. The first two numbers, the first one, it was just not in service. The second one, I called once and they didn't pick up, and then I called right again, like back to back, and they picked up. So that was pretty cool because that's something that you mentioned, like call twice because they're gonna pick up, and it worked. So I thought that was cool. And then I called the third one, and then I got in touch with someone, and I went through the script, I went through everything. I mean, it was my first time doing it, but I booked a sales call for next week, which I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah. So, but I'm not sure if it's, I mean, I want to run it by you, but so this guy owns two businesses. One's like a credit repair business, which I've had a client, like I've shot videos for someone who does that in the past, and the guy was like loaded. So I think it might be a good client, but he did not want to do a free video commercial for that one. He wanted to do it for an exotic car rental that he started. So him and his business partner are buying like two Lambos next week or so, and they want the free video commercial for that one. So he didn't have, a lot of numbers in terms of revenue and profit and things like that, but he did mention that like renting one of those cars like $2,200 a day or something like that. And they're just thinking about to have like $10,000 a month for marketing. So I was like, I'm just gonna book a sales call. I don't know if that was the right call, but I did. So I wanted to run it by you.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Do you think it was the right call? Do you think it was the wrong call? What's brewing in your head?
I mean, to me, I think they're just getting started. But I think there's potential there. Um, it's a very expensive service to have. Like if you're getting paid $1,600 or 2,200 bucks a day. So I think it would be really good. I don't know, they're not established enough, but one of the videos that you had was like do not burn any bridges, and that's what I wanted to do. I was like, you know, maybe down the road I can do something with them. So
Yeah. So you 100% made the right move. Um, I would say, so this is a very different game than, video strategy, right? Video strategy, they're always going to tell you find people that have a bunch of money. And then
mhm,
you're taking, like this is why they always preach like, getting a roofing company and this and that. And so you have a pair of lenses that you're viewing through. It's like who's got the fucking money? And every videographer is like a sugar baby. That's how you are. You're a sugar baby. You're just
mhm,
trying to find
mhm,
people who are
mhm,
rich and you're trying to extract money. I always tell people focus on who you can make the money for, not who
okay,
has the money. Who can you make the money for? It's a very different ball game. So can you make them a bunch of money? Yeah, you can, even if they are brand new, right?
yeah,
Can you make the guy a bunch of money who's got the credit repair stuff? Yeah, you can. This is what Terrell does, by the way. He's inside, he just posted in the group. That's one of his side businesses. He does the credit repair stuff. So you can do
mhm,
both of those. Both of those work extremely well for Facebook ads, rental car,
cool,
exotic car. Yeah, so both those. So, but here's the thing. Like, I don't, what I want you to be thinking about though, Camille, is I don't even want you to be thinking about, I'm simply answering that for the sake of you, for you, to help you out. But what I want you to go into the right mentality of is, I don't care whether it's a good business, bad business, or whatever. I just want to sell. Because that's all you need to learn for now. You don't really need to learn if you can help them or not help them. Like, for example, MJ, when he was asking those questions, like the reality is like the 4 sales calls he has, man, like those are terrible business in terms of running ads for. Like none of them are going to work out. But I don't care. I just care that he knows how to sing, song, dance, and close them. That's all I care about.
Gotcha.
Because if you can do that, the rest of the game becomes easy. Because if I know that you can do that, well, then when you're actually having conversation with business owners that are established and all that stuff, it's gonna be a walk in the park for you. I'm just trying to set you up so that when the time comes, you're good to go.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Also,
Cool.
I know someone that is like destroying it in credit repair in terms of running ads. Like he's doing so well. So
Nice.
don't be
Awesome.
nervous in terms of that. So if you do close that, like definitely get with me and I'll hook you guys up.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. Like we talked just about the car rental company. He was not interested in the credit repair,
Well,
but I was like, it sounds like that one's way more established and
no.
Sell
Sell
him
him.
what he wants. Sell him whatever he wants.
Yeah, don't sell
Like
him.
I'm just I maybe I shouldn't have even said what I just said. But
Punch you on the chin, bro.
yeah, sorry. Like I'm just gonna shut up.
No, that's
Sell,
good. Good to know.
sell him what he wants. Yeah, that stuff doesn't work in this world. Trying to go in that, like, it doesn't work. Good question though.
Cool.
What else you got, Camilo?
Um, that was about it. The other question that I had was for Mason. I know you gave me a website to go and do a privacy notice, but I didn't see where to put that in the funnel. So it's more
So
about the
yeah.
A2P that has not been verified yet.
Yeah. So in terms of it's a privacy policy. So technically websites don't need one. But what I found is in terms of getting your A2P approved, if you add that link and then underneath the user consent section of filling out A2P, if you put that actual link that you have inside, then the likelihood of you getting approved are going to go up.
Okay,
So
cool.
with that knowledge, what you should do is go on that website, fill out some basic information, create a new page inside of Go High Level. Okay. And then what you need to do is just copy and paste it, put it in there. And then due to the fact that you already have the domain connected to the funnel, all you need to do is have it named as like www.koshikamod.com/privacy policy.
Okay.
And as long as you have that, you can copy and paste it and put it in there, then you're going to be gold.
All right. Sounds good. Cool.
Um,
Uh,
guys, Kyle, approximately how many leads did you get, man? And then of those, like, how many people like fill out the application? I don't know if you
Are you
have that
talking
on.
to Kyle? Are you talking to Kyle? You
Yeah,
said
Kyle.
Okay.
Yeah, I just looked at that actually when you brought that up. So I was about a third. About a third of them filled it out out of 30.
Okay.
Okay.
So 30
About
leads
10 people.
actually
And
applied.
10, yeah.
How many would you say went like all the way through the funnel?
I don't actually know actually went all the way through. How would you find that out?
So when I say
Who
all the way
sent you
through,
a DM?
they sent you the DM.
Oh, they said yeah. So there's actually I did get quite a few DMs actually on but it would be funny because I would get like some on Instagram, some on Facebook, and then some people would just like message me directly. So but yeah, I don't know.
The ones I would say,
I'd say half, maybe five.
okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I would say the ones that count are the ones that are going to DM you free video, not like anything else. They
Right.
DM free video, that means that they went all the way through.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd say about five or four maybe.
Okay, so if we kind of do the math there, so 4 divided by 30, 10 divided by 30. So about 33% will fill out the application according to Kyle, like from his experience, and about 10% are going to shoot you a DM, which is my experience. Like what I look for, Camilo, is I look for like 1 out of 10 people to be a solid lead. That's kind of what
Gotcha.
average for me. So if I get 20 if so Kyle got 30 leads, I'm going to bet he spoke to like at least 3 solid people that are like, these are people that are sellable. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're gonna, out of like, 10 leads, like 9 are gonna be clowns, Camilo. 9 are gonna be like, you can't help them. They're just applying. They're not even fully bought in. like it's gonna be a hard sell.
Yeah,
Versus
it's a
one out of
numbers
those 10,
game.
yeah, 1 out of 10, you're like, you know what? I think I can actually sell them. They actually are serious. They have the money and da 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 da, or I can make them the money, right? All that stuff. So about 1 out of 10.
Gotcha.
And
So
actually, the just sorry, just to say one thing there, the guy did close. He actually didn't fill out the application, but he said he had tried filling it out on his phone and something happened or whatever. So it was a good thing that I called him back because
Hmm.
you know, so that could happen too. Sometimes there's little glitches.
I was gonna thank you for bringing that up, Kyle. That's one of the things I was gonna bring up today, Camille, is I would assume you've already done this, but have you gone through and test out your funnel on desktop and then on mobile both, and then made sure that everything is firing from both sides?
Actually, not on mobile, so I'll do that. We tested
So,
with Mason on desktop, but
okay.
not on mobile. Yeah.
So you want to desktop, you run through it with email and phone number one. And so you're seeing your customer facing experience, and then you on the back end are seeing are all the automations emails firing, right? And then step two is then you do it on mobile with a different email, different phone number, and then you see on
Hmm.
your end is everything firing fine. So you make sure
Gotcha. Cool.
all 4 angles to make sure everything is good. So that's something you definitely should check into in case something.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that.
Yeah.
So test mobile.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. What else?
Have you
So I killed the store. I'm sorry. Were you gonna ask something?
So it sounds like you got 8 leads. Are you saying that you were able to follow up with 3 of them and you still have to follow up with 8, 7, 6, 5 of them still, or have you followed with them?
Yes. No, no. I'll follow it. I'm gonna follow up with them tomorrow morning.
Okay.
I had a shoot today all day, and in the right before the meeting, that's when I started calling people. But yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, man. I would say, in the game of lead generation, man, it's like so like if this is like the entire journey or effort, it's like this part right here is like the ad and the lead. All this stuff is like nurture. It's how many times you follow up with them, bang it out. Like the magic is in the back end. The magic is all
Gotcha.
that. So you're
So
seeing that the first 3 that you followed up with, you're like noticing patterns already 2 out of the 3 of them. That's
yeah.
normal.
So for those two that the number is not correct, should I send them an email?
You can. And so I don't know if it's the best use of your time because it sounds to me like you're crunched for time, bro. And so if you can, go for it, but don't kill yourself over that.
Okay.
Down the road,
Okay.
once you
Cool.
reach down, yeah, we're gonna have an email campaign and all that stuff. But for
Okay.
now, don't kill yourself. What's more important is ringing through all the leads, doing the double dials daily.
Gotcha.
That's way more important.
Okay. Cool. Um, and I killed this stories ad as you told me, and then I duplicated the feed ad. Now they're both on the original and the copy are both on learning stage. Is that normal?
Good question. So whether something says learning or whatever, it doesn't matter. Ignore it.
Okay.
That's just Facebook being dumb as fuck. Facebook to get out of learning, it's something like 50 conversions per week, which is like insane. It's like if my cost per acquisition is like $5,000, then I have to make 50 times $5,000 per ad set per week, which is insane to get out of
Yeah.
learning. That doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
So don't worry about that.
That's it. That's all I had.
How are you feeling about stuff overall?
I mean, pretty good just to see those numbers, and then just getting the leads and seeing, people opting in. That's pretty cool. And then just having that conversation with that guy and just listening to him, like he wouldn't shut up. Like he was just talking and talking. I was like, okay, let you talk. And I was like, hey, is it cool if I, do a demo for you like next week? And he's like, yeah, yeah, absolutely. And he said he was a marketer, he was a digital marketer, and they have this person who's gonna have like a CRM, and it includes all this like website and all of this stuff. But
You have to be
um,
careful with that then. You have to be very careful with that because he might be telling you that he already does the marketing side and he just needs the video side. So you want to be very careful of those people. Does that make sense?
yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah,
today
absolutely.
we're giving them video for free and then we're charging for the marketing. Now, if you're smooth with it and you can think on your feet, well, then you can pull something like what Kyle pulled, right? Where you're saying, hey, look, I typically give the video away for free and then we charge for this, but I'm willing. And then I don't know, Kyle, you can kind of, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you can kind of go ahead and kind of share how that happened and
Yeah.
the experience.
I think I kind of broke the rules because like when I was on I think it was the discovery call with him the first time, I said that we could give him a free video commercial. So that's how I like kind of booked the sales call. And then after the sales call, I talked to him and well, actually, I can't exactly remember how it went, but I do remember saying, like, getting back on the call with him for the sales call. Um, and I was actually, like I said, I probably broke all the rules. I was actually driving. I was really busy. We had it booked. Had to go pick up my son 30 minutes out of town, and so I was driving. He knew I was driving, and I said, "Hey, I figured best get on the call right now, even though I'm driving. This is the only time that worked for you. It works for me." And I just said, "Hey, look, like when we initially spoke, or no, so sorry. Typically, what happens when we run these ads is that we sell our marketing services, so that's why we can give away the free video commercial. And so in this case, I kind of talked to the team, and we decided that we could give you still at a discounted rate that video commercial, and we decided $1,500 would be a good fair rate. And he didn't have any qualms about it. Like he said, yeah, he's like, that kind of makes sense. He's like, I was hoping to get a free commercial, but he's like, I totally get it, and still wanted to work with me. So
So is that someone that did not hire your marketing services?
he also did
Was it-
hire our market. Yeah. So we're going to be doing 3 months with him, and he was actually with an agency already. So kind of how I sold that too is like when I got on the phone with him, I honestly like I didn't think I'd actually work with him. So I was just kind of going through his cabinet. I said, well, let's take a look at what you're doing. And I'll tell you, like I was kind of giving him advice on what I would do. I didn't actually think that I would close the deal because I didn't think that like working with a card tuner was like my best way to go. So and maybe I had the wrong idea about it because like Koshik was saying, no, you got to sell anything, right? But in this case, I was like, oh, maybe this isn't the best thing. So I just honestly went through his campaign and I said, hey, look, this is what I would change. I see that these guys are doing this and this is good. They're doing like detailed stuff, but I noticed that they're not actually like choosing specific areas. Like, have you ever tried like just doing feeds or just doing stories, which is what we did for the campaign? He's like, no, he's like, I never really thought of that. And I'm like, well, that you could save money, instead of sending your ads to like in-game apps and stuff like that. Like maybe there's better use of those ad dollars there. So I would maybe try something like that. And then I told him you can exclude certain audiences with your pixel and stuff. So I said, and I'd also try some of this. So you're not advertising to the same people, try to widen that. And so he liked that. And yeah. And I said, so that's what I do. I said, you should just change those things. He's like, well, I don't really change those. I don't do those things. He's like, that's what the agency does. And so I'm like, well, that's what I would do, like if I took over. And I said, I don't even necessarily think you need like the funnel that you seen in our ad. I said, I think you just keep kind of doing what you're doing, but I would add a little more creative. Like the video commercial would be nice. I would change your image ads just a little bit, right? And he just liked those ideas. So then, by the time we got to talking about the commercial, he was kind of already sold, I think.
Nice.
So Camille, so Kyle's case is different, like very different, polar opposite than like 99 cases. But a few things that work in Kyle's case is like I don't know if you remember this, but Kyle basically started as a marketer and then he learned videography, other way around. And so he was able to have a conversation where he's not pulling stuff out of his head, he's not making stuff up, he's like speaking
Totally.
actual value, and it's making sense to the business owner. And then if Kyle had just sold a video, I would have said that doesn't count. But because Kyle was able to sell advertising services along with it, that's why I said, okay, it counts, deal closed, let's go and move on. So I just wanted, so the reason I'm bringing that up is, you've got quite a bit of experience with sales. It seems like you know how to carry yourself, and it seems like you know how to kind of be on your feet. And so if you sense that, well, then go for it, right? Just try to, like if you have to move the deal around, do what you need to do. But it officially closes if you have ad service. So anyways, I just bring that up because in my experience, you'll sometimes have these kinds of guys, especially e-commerce business owners, that have an agency, right? So a lot of people that already have an agency, they already have a funnel guy, ad guy, marketing guy, and so they want you to do the video for free. But it's like, all I need is content, give it to my marketing guy, boom, we're good to go. And so you just have to be careful with these kinds of people to make sure that they're not trying to take advantage of you. So again, what Kyle did, which is a very smart move, and the way he did it was very like tasteful. It wasn't distasteful. If you do it the wrong way, where somebody comes in, they expect some free thing, you're like, oh, dude, I gotta actually charge you, or else we don't make any money. You make it you're very selfish about it or whatever. Then all of a sudden, people are just turned off. They're like, ah, fuck it, I'm gonna move on. You just have to do it in a
Mhm.
tasteful way, which is what
Yeah.
Kyle did. So I
Perfect.
hope that makes sense, Camille.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
What else you got for us, Cam?
That's it.
How are you feeling
That's it for
overall?
now.
Good.
Feeling good. Feeling good. This is pretty cool. Like I said, just seeing those numbers, pop in on the funnel, and then just calling people, and then just going through the first call, and then getting someone on the phone and booking him for a sales call. I thought it was pretty cool.
It's not rocket science. It's pretty simple. You just gotta
Yeah.
put in the reps. You just gotta power through them. It's actually not that difficult.
Yeah,
So
and the scripts definitely help.
yeah,
So yeah.
sure. Cool, man. Well, my guess is that you're gonna have more questions next week. That's usually what happens. Like this week, once you start following up, you have all these nuanced situations, and we'll be here for you next week to answer those questions.
All right, cool. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man.
Appreciate you guys.
Yep. Who do we have
I'm
next?
gonna join from my phone, the rest of the call.
Is Tony here?
Just jumped in.
What up, Tony?
What's up?
Chilling, man. How are things going? Tony, man, just like out here slaying deals.
Tony the
left.
Tiger, man. That's his nickname. Tony the Tiger.
Let's give it up to Tony for closing his 5th deal, guys.
Yo, appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Let's go. Congrats. So what you got for us, man?
Well, I think for like, just thinking forward, we're gonna have to like tier out our clients, right? Like these people are done for you, these people are done with you. And I think the sooner we can get them all like sort of integrated with high level, the better, in my opinion. So I'm wondering, like, it says like give them a few sales calls, scripts. I can't read the rest of that. Run through something. I don't know. I need to move my screen. I'm sorry. Yeah, like I always run them through the pipeline, of course, and then you mentioned like the FAQs last week. Like, what are the most like the five questions you get over and over and over again? Like, include those. But I guess what else would you include? Sorry,
So
my dog's going crazy in the background. I'm gonna mute it.
okay. I think one thing that could help me, Tony, man, is like I think now might be a good time for you to, after our call, just carve out like a few minutes to run through like a campaign from A to Z, or like the multiple campaign. This way I see what you're doing, and maybe even a diagram. Like, okay, here's the ad, it goes here, and here, because here's a diagram. This is what happens. Here's the script that we're using. Here's kind of the plan. Here's what we're trying to do. This way I can holistically just like see how results even work, and then from there, I could probably sleep on it for a minute, and then I can give you better advice. I need some time to like see what's going on, digest, and then kind of like think through it, and kind of give you some advice based off of that.
Are you taking client calls like at all? Like their discovery calls by any chance?
For one client, we tried for another one and did okay, but he had so many stipulations and he had like OCD and it just wasn't worth it. I was like, dude, take your list back.
Let me ask you this. So from the client that you are taking the calls now, like how is it going for them? Like results wise?
I mean, it's solid. I would say like out of like 50 leads, we've probably closed like 10 deals, but they're low ticket items. You know what I mean? So we I want to look into doing memberships for like everybody. That's definitely like a really attractive thing, a la Hamrozi, like we sort of talked about. And this particular one, the one that we're calling for, does have membership, so I want to start like integrating that in sooner than later too. But I'd say it's going pretty good. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna hit our exact mark of like 30 booked leads in 30 days, but it's not far off, I don't think.
Yeah. So like the only reason I'm bringing this up is because typically what I would do first in terms of giving yourself more free time is getting off those calls. So I know that like this is your 5th niche client, right?
Yes,
Okay. And then out of those 5, you're only taking calls for one.
correct.
Why?
Because I didn't feel like we had the bandwidth to do it. I didn't have the infrastructure to do that.
They're doing it because they're doing, and I think actually, like, you're right, Mason, but also it's like context, and like it's okay for them to do it, and they should be doing it actually right now in their case. The reason for
No,
that
I
is
agree. I agree to that. I'm just trying to think like,
this person is a whale and they have 10 other locations. So what they're trying to get really good, and they're not trying to give everything away so that they have to get hired on for the 9 other. That's what the strategy was for Tony. So
mm,
so once somebody becomes a lead, what Tony does is he calls the lead, follows up with them, and gets them to show up to the establishment. So now the business needs him. And so his mindset
right.
is, if I get these other 9 locations, now maybe we can give them course material, give them some stuff, and then now we can
Yeah.
stop doing that.
Yeah, exactly. No, we got like another month and a half left. So you're right on, Mason, too. I mean, and thanks for the clarification, Kaushik. Like we basically booked the first 3 months as a done for you model. And then at the end of that 3 months, we would kind of like negotiate how we would work like sales calls moving forward and ads moving forward and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
We can sleep on it, man, but like I feel like, again, the better you get at doing things now, like before those 3 months, right?
That's what I was kind of getting at. Like, okay, I'll just say one thing. I don't mean to cut you off, Koshik, but like, I I personally would go balls to the walls and not really give a shit about your first like month or two with this one client. I would put a lot of your profits into ads and then take as many calls as humanly possible. Because not only are you going to get better, but you'll hit that guarantee. And then when you guys go and kind of restructure how payment works, you can kind of do like a huge pay in full type option, then be like, hey, you know how I got you all these leads and all these closed deals? I'm going to teach you guys how to do that for all of your locations.
Right, exactly.
That's maybe how I would go about it.
You might be able to, like, yeah. So I guess, like, let's take a step back. I mean, actually, I might forget about this, but like one thing that could be done is, like, if you go balls to wall, like Mason saying, and you figure that stuff out, and you figure out the membership stuff on the back end, and like that's the main thing you need to figure out. And that's what we talked about this past weekend, Tony. I was like explaining, like, hey, like that's the number one thing I'm gonna figure out if I'm you. How do you increase LTV? That's the number one thing you can do. Um, and so if you can take these 3 months to start figuring that out, figuring out the membership thing, that's going to be huge for you. Huge. That's going to be such a huge weight load off your chest, because you're never going to have an issue where the client should fire you. The client should never fire you if you're getting them a tremendous LTV and making them enough money to funnel it to you. As long as your client relationships are good. And then what happens is, if you can figure that out within these 3 months, and then you can literally do something where you can sign on these 10 additional people, and you can like roll out one a week or something like that, and you get them to pay maybe even a high ticket price, where you say, hey, look, it's going to be a high ticket one-time payment, maybe for the next 6 months. And the reason it's going to be 6 months is not only are we taking them on, but you're going to get all the sales calls, you're going to get all the scripts, you're going to get everything. So we have no more, we don't have any leverage. We're giving you everything. And that's what we charge, charging a premium for that. And if you have earned his respect within these 3 months, he's going to be like, why the fuck not?
Yeah, that's my loose plan, but you're listing it more eloquently than I will. So I appreciate that. I need to hear that from a different voice. Yeah, I mean, selling the IP for sure. I mean, that's kind of the start. We're gonna do it in such a like cowboy form. I know we kind of don't know what we're doing in a sense in terms of like selling IP, but I have a general idea. I mean, I've been selling stock images and video for a long time. Um, so okay, that helps for sure.
Right. For now, and so this is, so that I just want to answer that. I just want to kind of chime in with that. But like right now, my question to you is like, what problem are we solving right now? Like, what problem exists that you're trying to solve right now with this question? Is there a problem even that you're trying to solve? Is it some kind
Um,
of
I
problem?
guess like what to be cognizant of when we're having these calls, what to be keeping good records of. I know that like I need to be buttoned up and like edit my looms a little bit to like present those, to them when I finally do present them. Um, yeah, I mean, just kind of like thinking as we go in terms of like what we should be bringing with us and what we can leave behind.
Can you what are you
What
talking about?
data, what data we should be bringing, like, and like also like what is too much. So let's say these other four clients that we're talking about that aren't like a done for you model, we want to kick them off with like a few sales calls, maybe like a script or two that we use. and maybe even take like their first week for them to give them an idea of how we would run it for them. Is that a good or a bad idea in your mind? We're trying to basically give them more. The problem would be like there's too many questions, too much time, too much hand holding, etc. So I want to be able to give them more in the front end, so there's like less hand holding, if that makes sense.
What I would probably do if I were you, man, is like, again, it depends on done for you, done with you. I would maybe have like a course module for your done for you and then one for your done with you clients. And again,
Mhm.
you're going to be revamping this stuff. Like I've revamped my course, I don't know how many times, right? So it's normal. You're not going to get it right the first time. You're going to be tweaking it. And I would just say get of that mindset and just understand that's normal. It's not supposed to be perfect. Step two, I would say, is maybe I would hop on a call with your done for you, done with you clients, and then be like, okay, what are your top like main questions or whatever? And then maybe you can create a module on that. Like you have a module and then you can answer all the questions that they need to solve that problem.
Got it.
I feel like that could be a good starting point. What I really love doing is like, what I love doing for me, and this is what I think is really important, is point A is where somebody starts, right? And point B is how far you can take them. And so this point right here, point B, you're always kind of moving the finish line a little bit. So for me, my initial finish line, for example, was just launching the six-figure and six-week sales funnel and helping somebody try to close a deal. Now it's like that's done within 14 days. The next milestone, the next pace is helping somebody figure out the niche and this and that. The next is going to be like, okay, I want to do 6 months with people. So I'm constantly moving my like milestone, right? And so this is normal, how far you take somebody. So this is ever evolving. And then what we do is we consider who are the people that we can take there. So can I take a wedding filmmaker there? No, I cannot. Can I take a photographer there? No, I cannot. Who can I take a videographer that does 3,000 to 7,000 per month that works with business and brands and da 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 da. And then what I do is I just basically figure out how to reverse engineer these steps. So this step, this step, this step, this step. And that's all I care about is I just want to take people as far as I can from where they are. And so if we consider the course, the way the course is outlined, doesn't the course do that? Here's an introduction to like how the business model works. Here's how to audit a business. Here's how to build your inbound system. Here's how to actually get results for the purpose of it is to sequentially take people further and further along. And so that's how I like to kind of view it is like that. And so and then I also have the section here, which is like FAQs. So what I'm telling you, my first piece of advice was like kind of like this, like have just it's almost like an FAQ section. You just have a module and just answer all the questions that they seem to ask you over and over again. Right. So I kept getting these questions. So I just like put them in here. So it's like, if I'm you, have one module and just put a bunch of stuff in there. That's step one. And that's good enough for now. It's probably good enough for your first few clients. But ultimately, you want to move towards this, something like this.
Mm-hmm.
This light and this path will become more clear as time progresses.
Cool.
Like for me, again, when I started, I just wanted to be people to build a six-figure, six-week sales funnel, and then that was it. And then I started to see the light at the end of the path. I was like, okay, if I help people with this, well, then now I run into this other issue. It's not scalable, and I get a bajillion questions and all this stuff, and there's huge churn. People are able to close, but they can't retain the client. All this stuff. So I'm like, I need to go further. I need to figure something else out. So right now, for example, you're running ads and you're helping people sell like, $30, $50 thing. And then you might kind of realize like, oh, that's not enough. I need to take people and help them sell like a membership or something else or otherwise they're not making enough money to pay me. You'll probably notice that. You'll probably realize that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a fear for sure because we're barely evening out. Like I said, some clients are probably making a little bit less, but they also see the value of like getting 2 or 3 clients that are going to last for years and years, right? So there's some leeway there, but I can see also like, some people calling us out eventually on not making those numbers.
Yeah. I mean,
and then fast cash injection for something like this. I mean, they have such a big, robust email list. They may not want us to get involved. I've been trying to like really hustle through the people that are in follow-up 1, follow-up 2, follow-up 3 phase, just to like really, cycle through everybody and make sure we get everyone. But you guys have mentioned like a fast cash injection for these folks. I mean, is that just as simple as like creating a text campaign for their existing clients and like putting a very similar ad copy and ad on that, you know? Is that how you would recommend doing that?
Yeah, that there was a training with I don't know if you remember when with Riviera. Were you there when Daniel Riviera came in and he showed us like his dentist fast cash injection?
Yeah, the Invisalign thing.
Yeah. He was something about like bring a toothbrush or whatever, and then whatever, we're gonna do something. And so me and him literally like, kind of create some kind of a fast cash injection like on the spot. I don't remember what it was, but like that kind of stuff was really good too because his fast cash injection strategy was to bring it was actually genius where he was basically bringing people in from word of mouth. So it's like what you're talking about right now is like if you have 100 people, we're trying to reactivate, 10% of them. Versus what he was doing is if they have 100 people, he's trying to get those 100 people to bring another 100 people in. And so it's genius. And so those are two completely different things. Reactivating your existing client base versus bringing in new customers. And so he was indirectly doing the later. And so I would recommend checking out that training and watching that part back. But you're right, like both of those. I would do both. And another thing I would recommend is like I probably wouldn't do it with like the big fish client that you have right now. I'd probably use one of, and you're probably on the same page. I'd probably use, somebody else as like a case study first to test stuff out.
Anything else besides that I'm missing that we can make money for this big fish client while I'm waiting? Because I agree that I think that we should test it out and get some things wrong before we implement it for them. And I think they're going to be pretty hesitant to give us their list as well.
It will be until you show them some hard, fast numbers, right?
Yeah, case studies. But I mean, any other methods I'm missing that you can think of for this larger fish to be making dough aside from adding more ad spend? And you're saying overspend, Mason, basically compared to what I think he's yapping actually, but that's what he was saying is kind of spend more than we're actually intaking for the month or two to just make sure that we reach our goals and retain them as a client. It's kind of how I heard that.
So your goal is to retain them, obviously. I guess like your question like how do I make them more profitable than they're spending with me, or is your question how do I increase lifetime value? Like what exactly, if we dig a little deeper, what exactly is another way that you can ask that question other than like obviously like I know you want to retain them, but like what, like increase lifetime value? Is it how do I do fast cash? Like what exactly?
Yeah, I mean, maybe other ways of fast cash besides taking their entire text list. That's a good way to refine that.
Okay. The only way that I know of to do the fast cash is just that, pretty much that. There's leveraging their existing social medias, they're leveraging their existing Instagram and their Facebook. And so creating some kind of like a post competition or something like that to get people involved. That's pretty much it. That's all I can think of to do like a fast cash. And almost always with fast cash, it's almost like warm audience and customers. That's kind of usually how I think about it. Email, same thing, right? You're using a different medium. So email, so texting to existing customer base, texting to existing customer base to warm them up or resell them, testing existing customer base to bring other people in, use email marketing, something for that, use Facebook and Instagram as some kind of a competition or some kind of organic post. I think that's it.
Cool.
Go ahead, Kyle.
I got a question there. Would you consider like for a warm audience, like if you could look at your potential customers that looked at like 50% or 75% of your video ads that you might be running, would that be considered warm?
Yeah. So let me ask you this question. Where's that question coming from? Just out of curiosity.
Well, I was just thinking with these fast cash injections, like, could you use like if a lot of people like in the course, especially we're running these ads all the time, so we have kind of like a warm audience. If our pixels, if we got that set up right, there would be somewhat of a warm audience. Probably not as warm as like if you had their email list or whatever, but I was just wondering if that audience would be worth checking into, I guess.
So I think so you're coming from from a place of like just like definitions, and that's okay. I think the where Tony's coming from it and where I'm coming from it is this, is you're kind of using this judgment of like, hey, I just signed somebody up. What are the levers that I have that I can pull right now to make some money within like the next 7 days? That's the question. So yeah, you might have warm traffic that's watched 50% of your videos, but is there a lever that you can pull for those kinds of people to get them to buy right away? Probably not.
You're
Ver-
basically trying to make money without advertising, without spending any dollars.
Oh, I gotcha.
So like you go into a business like what can I immediately do without launching my ads to make them the most amount of money up front?
Right.
So
Yeah.
for example, like when you go into like a new business, right? It's like let's just take Tony for example. If so, let's say like his dog grooming, like that whole thing has like 20,000 people on an email list. It doesn't cost much money to spend an SMS. It doesn't cost that much money to run an email sequence, right? So that's kind of what we're talking about in terms of like not spending anything and then making them a lot of money up front fast. I think that's why they call it quick cash injection because it's quick, right? It doesn't take like ads to warm up or et cetera, right? It's just kind of quick.
I got a quick follow-up for that too. So some of these larger companies have run texts and run emails, email campaigns. How should I differentiate what we're doing? Is it like the follow-up sequence with like automation and like the automatic like interjection into our CRM and things like that? I mean, how would you differentiate an email?
Are you asking, is this coming from a place of like, hey, Kaushik, I have this question because I'm wondering how to sell it and make it more sexy on my sales calls? Is that kind of where this is coming from?
No, we've had on sales, yeah, I guess so. On sales calls that didn't work out, we had people kind of have that objection where they're like, oh, we already do text campaigns and email campaigns. How is this different? So if we have that objection from one of our current clients when I pitch this fast cash injection, I'd like to know how to like differentiate how we do that essentially.
If it's the verbiage, it's the offer, and it's the follow up. Like those are the main three. Like first of all, people will send an SMS and they never follow up. Like to me, that's just stupid. You know what I mean? Like when I was running SMS campaigns, especially like for the people that I've ran them for, like a lot of people would buy after going through the sequence and them not even like responding for the first three messages. Like literally, like it's kind of weird how it works, but I see it in email marketing as well, where say there's like a 5 or 7 day sequence on like the 5th or 6th day, like that's where all of your fucking buyers come from. Like it's really weird. So that's the first thing. Second thing is like the offer, right? So it's like, what are you actually selling them? What are you actually text messaging them? A lot of people when they're running like these text message campaigns, like their verbiage is just fucking terrible. Like they just don't know what to say, and it's not intriguing enough to get someone to reply. Like because like I'm in the DMs like all day long. This is why I kind of know this type of stuff. But, like
Yeah.
I know what to say to someone to get them to respond. Right. So like a lot of people, what they're doing, it's kind of like, hey, do you want this thing? It's $50. It's like, yo, like we didn't even have a fucking conversation. Like you just randomly text messaged me. I forgot that I even gave you my number 2 years ago. And now you're asking me for $50. Like, dude, you sound like a fucking idiot. Like that's another thing. Right. So I think it's the verbiage, coming up with a great offer, and then building the follow-up sequence, keyword sequence, so that you can squeeze all the juice out of the lemon. Because what a lot of people do is they'll send that initial text message or they'll make that first call, and like that's it. Like that's it. That's
Okay.
what I would say.
So I kind of wrote this down. Mason said offer, verbiage, follow up, right? And so I kind of draw out this diagram. Let's say, again, I'm just talking to you from a perspective of like trying to make it sound sexy, right? How do you make something sound sexy? You don't make it sound better, you make it sound new, right? New and different. New and different is better than better, always. So that's what they're saying. They're saying, hey, how's this fucking different? What makes this saying? Okay, so you say, hey, look, we're using email. And again, I'm not telling you should do this. Maybe you can make it work. But you say, okay, follow up. That's the first thing Mason said, right? Follow up. So when it comes to follow up, hey, you're saying email, but what, like you can ask some questions, right? The way I would do it is I'll be like, okay, what does your email sequence look like? What are you doing? This. Okay, got it. Or I don't know, maybe like DM would be better. DM. So what does it look like? Oh, we just DM them this and then it works or doesn't work. Got it. And so what you can do is you can go up your follow-up and try to explain what Mason explained, or you can say, hey, what we're doing is different is in that what we're doing is we're using AI. So AI is going to communicate better than you. It's going to communicate better than me. It's going to communicate better than everybody because it's a freaking machine. Know exactly how to talk to these people, right? So now we're talking about the follow-up sequence. And then when it comes to like the offer, you're kind of blowing their mind saying, hey, follow up, and then we're going to sell them this thing. And then from selling that thing, this is just a starting point. Then what we do is we go into a high ticket thing, and then we go into membership. This is the ultimate game plan. The game plan is not to sell this thing. We just use these things as bait to get people to bite. But then ultimately what we're trying to do is we're trying to sell this. So what have we hit on? We hit up on follow-up, we hit up on offer, and then we hit up on like verbiage, right? Verbiage using you know, AI verbiage or whatever. AI knows the best verbiage, right? So hopefully that kind of makes sense. That's a way you can kind of make it sound sexy and differentiate yourself.
Specifically in the follow-up, what people do is they'll send out a first next message, by the way, that text message, Tony. And
Yeah.
then everything else is manual. So like if you look inside the course or you built
Yeah.
out the SMS campaign yourself, it's kind of like, hey, they have this thing, and like you can have your own like little funnel chart. Be like, hey, they have this thing. If they reply yes, then they go here. If they reply no, they go here. Then they get followed up with a day later, then this, and then this. And is that currently what you're doing? They'll be like, fuck no. Like, you know what I mean? And then you could tell them at the bottom, it's like, hey, this is where we found where 65% of actually conversions actually work. And it's actually at the bottom here when they actually haven't even responded. Then they'll be like, oh shit, like that's new. We haven't seen that. Usually we just respond to one thing and it never works. Now they're like, oh fuck, this is what I wasn't doing before. Now I know why it didn't work and why I can work better.
The key, there's a lot of sauce in what Mason just said towards the tail end, which is like making them realize, oh, I like getting people to just like think like I thought I fucking knew. And it's like, holy shit, this is where all the sauce is, where the golden nuggets are. And I haven't been doing it because I didn't know. When you can make people feel that and realize that, they're like, holy shit. The devil is in the fucking details, and this guy Tony knows where the devil details are.
It's like a gym goer like going for like 3 years, then like just figuring out what creatine is. Then they're like, yo, what the fuck? This is like double XP. Like that's how it should be.
So when you were saying going manual, Mason, I understand that for sure. You like have an automated like, what type of dog do you have? And they answer, and then finally you take over the sticks, right? But then if they don't answer, do you have them in an automated sequence that's like 2-day follow-up, 3-day? Yeah.
Oh
okay,
yeah. Oh yeah.
cool. Makes sense. Sweet.
Um,
I hope that
so
helps.
that's that in terms of you know, messaging and differentiate yourself with fast cash. Talk a little bit about course material again. I kind of given you a good place to start, I think. And then, you know, like you got to start with the transformation. You got to start with the end result first. You got to have the end result, and then you create the course material around it. Right? That's the way I look at it. That's the way I see it. It's like, first I need to know where do I take people? Like for me, it's like, I know I can take people to a place where they have a niche selected, they're constantly get discovery calls, constantly sales calls, all that stuff. Like now that I know that, now I just have to create the course material to get them there. And so right now you don't fully know, well, am I selling a membership? Am I selling high tech? You don't really know. So you got to figure that stuff out first. And then you can create the course material around it. What else you got for us, Tony?
Feeling good, man. Feeling grateful. All this stuff is working out every single time we meet up. And thanks to you guys for your ongoing help and support. And yeah, it's fun to get into the macro. It's fun to get like big picture and like have these like bigger, like more money, more problems kind of thing, right? Because like if we didn't have those problems, like we'd probably be maybe not even pursuing this. But the fact that those are already presenting themselves is pretty awesome, I think.
100%, man. Mason, anything else that you feel like we could share with Tony?
No, I don't think so.
Cool. Tony going once, going twice.
Thanks, guys.
So Michael, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Kyle, did you have something to say really quick? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just saying bye.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
good.
running-
I actually
Okay,
gotta
cool.
run upstairs for supper here, but I'll be back on as soon as I can.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry
Mike,
about that, Michael. I didn't mean to cut you out right there. Yeah.
All good, guys. How you doing? I'm going to turn my video off here in a moment, just, obviously because I'm running on cell. But yeah, look, both ad sets are going good. They were approved yesterday, and I just got a lead in about 5 minutes ago. Just
Nice.
got the notification.
He's cutting out for me. I don't know if anyone's kind of experiencing that. Okay.
They're working. Yeah, I just turned my video off just because I've got about 1 bar now. But can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we
So-
can hear you now. We were just hearing that you said the ad sets were doing well. You just got a lead. You launched the ads yesterday. Lead came in about 5 minutes ago. That's what we heard.
Yes, that's the first lead since I turned them back on. Last lead I got was Tuesday or Wednesday of last week. So Kaushik, obviously one of the things that we've been talking about over the last couple of days is just my process with following up with them, and getting them into a system. I have set up all of the firings now so that I can figure out when someone comes into the funnel, all of their application details, even their opt-in details if they don't fill out an application, so I can follow up with them remotely now. Those are just some of the constraints I'm working with on a Monday to Friday basis, obviously because of my commitments. I'm out of the house before the East Coast. I'm out of the house before it's an appropriate time for me to follow up with the leads here in my state. And then I'm back home or the place where I can follow up with them when on the East Coast, there's like a cutoff time where it's not appropriate for me to follow up with them. So those are just some of the constraints I'm working with. So I'm carving out a number of sessions throughout a given day where I can, schedule in 20, 30-minute calls, as well as digitally follow up with them with DMs. So as soon as they fall into my funnel, I DM them and I message them, and get them set up for like an initial discovery call at a set time throughout the day, like around lunchtime.
Okay, cool. Have you, so I guess my question to you is like, thank you for all the updates. In terms of your questions, do you have questions right now? I know, again, you turn the ads right back on.
Yeah.
But are there questions or anything that's
No.
kind of right now?
No, nothing substantial right now, only because I'm just kind of back in that my own like learning phase and testing with both of the ad sets, or one ad set with 2 ads firing within those ad sets.
Okay, cool. And then obviously you can see my screen now.
Let me see here. Yeah.
Okay, so I just sent something to you in Slack. I'm not sure if you've watched that yet. Watch this after ads have gone live. But in that video, there are specific videos that I ask you to watch. And so it's very, very important that you watch those videos. Sometimes people because I know these videos are dense, right? These main videos, the one I just messaged you, these videos are very dense, where I tell you a lot of stuff that you have to do, but you really have to focus on all of them to make the stuff work for you. And so I tell people like, hey, watch these videos, and then sometimes people skip over those videos. So I'm just gonna go send it over to you. This video is super crucial. The one I'm sending to you right now. This is so the 22-minute video tells you to watch several videos, including the 29-minute video that I just sent you that's right below that. So that I would say is probably one of the most important videos. That's like what Camilo watched. So Camilo, I don't know if you heard from him, but he got basically generate 8 leads, and then he didn't find time or energy to follow up with any of them. And then he literally followed up with 3 of them before our coaching call today, and then already booked one of them for a sales call, which just goes to show how important the stuff in this video is. So this is what's going to do a lot of the heavy lift here in this video. So I just want to send that over just to make sure you prioritize watching that and doing these things, because this is what's going to really move the needle for you.
Yep. Copy.
Cool, man. Well, is there anything that we could go over with you, man? Anything you wanted to ask about? Any comments, questions, anything at all that we could do for you on our call today?
No, in fact, it's probably prudent that I get off, because the lead that I just got about, at this point, 6-7 minutes ago, they've completed the application. I've got notified of all of their answers, and I've got a DM. So if I can, I'll go.
Go make that
Cool,
one.
man. Yeah, of course.
Cool. All right, Michael.
You guys take it easy. Enjoy your evening.
See you, Mike.
Kyle, you there, or you stuffing your face?
Oh, I think he's helping with dinner. I don't think he's eating. I think
Oh,
he's going to make food.
Kyle, you making food right now?
He's gonna put his camera on. He's gonna be like, "Sorry, guys, I'm trying to hurry."
I will just hang out for a little bit, I guess.
Where's Adam, man? I haven't seen this. Like he's like stuck back in the Valley of Despair for a couple weeks. Like, where is this kid?
No, he's good, man. He's so we had a Marines shoot come through our pipeline for video production.
Well,
And so our editor that works with us part-time, Natalie and Adam, are both up there for like the week, getting their own fast cash injection. Of course, like he, just got down here a week ago and busted his butt, and it was great to have him. But it's probably going to be like 3,500, like 5 or 6 grand all in for just a handful of like days of work. So, it's kind of awesome to like get him that right away. And I think I'm holding it down okay. It's a little overwhelming with the pet calls, like just calling people on behalf of like these pet groomers, but I think I'm getting used to it and I'm getting the flow down, kind of understand like some of the sequencing a little bit better. And I don't know. I know we're like I think we're probably going to lose one this month because she's got a chronic illness, which sucks, right? Like I knew that going into it. She was super honest about it.
yeah.
But she has some sort of autoimmune disorder that's like a stage 4-ish, right? So she's just like kind of falling out, and her mom takes care of things. So we'll probably drop that one. But our newest one, that we're actually running ads for is like printing right now. She can't even keep up with the leads. They're getting so many for so cheap. They're like $4 to $10 a lead. So that one's crushing. And the pet evolution one, like I said, that's the big worry one, the whale. I probably shouldn't even say the name on here, but I'm just trying to figure out ways to make them money aside from what we're doing. Because Koshik brought up a good point that I was like, oh shit, I need to make like 4 to 5 to be like 4 to 5x ROI to be in like the right, circle of like market agencies that stick around. And then if I really want to be winning, 20 to 30x, which is like, that's just like a pipe dream, right? How do I even think about like getting to that point? But
And Mike, I've been trying to like think about how to create material for you guys on that. And I don't have like a formula in my mind right now, but when I have it, I'm gonna create a video for you guys. But like every single case, it's like there's again, I need to figure out how to categorize information. There are certain cases where you can charge a premium up front. Like there are certain industries that works for. I think one of them is, Rich shared it with us. It's hazard abatement.
Well,
And so hazard abatement, are you familiar with what that is, Tony?
like get rid of like dead people, stuff like that. Like literally, like I don't want to make a graphic, but like that's what they do. They clean up that type of stuff.
Like in hazmat suits. And so, like Rich was telling us his buddy was work with some agencies, spent some money, and these guys are doing like $250,000 a month. And so their ad spend, I'm pretty sure it's not 25 grand, but even 25 grand is a 10x. And so I'm willing to bet their ad spend is like 10,000, 8,000, something like that. And so and this is why I'm trying to categorize information in my mind, because that clearly is a type of category where there's no bait and switch. There's nothing crazy. There's no crazy marketing. It's just literally how much they're spending there, because it's like such a unique thing, they can charge a premium for it. It's kind of like a certain brand that, like, for example, freaking what's his name? The NFT guy, freaking that sold his artwork for like millions of dollars. That guy, right? Like, talk about, it's like there are certain people that just charge such a premium that there's a huge delta between cost per acquisition and lifetime value. And so there's one category of people there. But then the other category of people, which is where I say majority of people are, those are your Hormozis. Those are the 6-figure, 6-week sales funnels. Those are everything else where it's like, it is, there's usually some kind of a bait and switch. There's something going on there. And so I'll share something else. Did I share Aman's thing with you?
No, I don't think
What
so.
thing?
For his Botox, like the thing that we came across.
Oh no.
So basically, again, it's always there. I've noticed when it comes to all these like 30Xs, like really cash, there's always some kind of fucking crazy bait and switch. Like even Mason, Remember what I explained to you the other day? I was like, hey, get everything for $1. There's some kind of a bait, so there's something
Yeah, I was actually considering doing that, by the way. I was gonna talk to you about that, but I was thinking about
$19 shorts.
launching. Huh?
You're gonna sell some $19 shorts to me?
No, well, actually, it's actually 3 for 19. So no, but I'm sorry. But no, I was thinking about like doing that, like PT
there's
thing that we were talking about for me.
there's some stuff I'll you can check out that I think could help, and then you can kind of build something together if you'd like. And we can even talk about that today, depending on when Kyle hops back in here. But
Yeah, because I was gonna build that out. I don't want to make this too much about me, but I was
let me
doing that, and then
let me explain this to Tony real
yeah,
quick.
sure.
And this is important for both of you guys actually. So
Cool.
basically the way it is, it's like get free Botox, right? So get free Botox. Who the fuck wouldn't click on that?
Right, it's a good offer.
It's a good offer, free Botox, nothing else,
Great
right?
offer.
Free video commercial offer
Free
almost.
video commercial, free video commercial. 16-week weight loss challenge, right? It's not it's extremely sexy. There's always a
Mhm.
catch. And so then when you click on the ad, then what happens is I think on the form it says it's get one free if you pay for two or something. So now things are starting to click. It's like, oh, so you're reading this and you're like, okay, got it. So I think they like opt in and then the thank you shows them this, where now they're like, oh, okay, this makes sense. And like people aren't stupid. They're like, well, duh, like, do I expect to get something entirely for free? I'm gonna feel like an asshole if I just want something for free. But they've already gotten your contact information, right? They get you to opt in and then the thank you
Right,
tell.
right,
And then from there, people hop, and then also they tell you like, hey, there's a consultation that's going to happen in place when you show up. And so
right.
they already force them to understand, hey, there's a consultation in place. If you want this Botox thing, this offer, you're here, you can get this. You have to pay for two, you get one for free, and we're gonna have a consultation. And then I forget exactly what happens, but there's something for like high ticket.
I was gonna say, so basically what they're doing is they're just moving you to high ticket pretty quick.
So again, there's always bait and switch. You feel like it's a free thing. Next thing you know, you're paying like 7 grand or you're paying like 2 grand a month, right?
Mhm.
Exactly. You're smiling. That's it. Every case I've seen that does a 30, and then from there, there's more things after that. And the
Right.
high ticket thing, it was crazy, but they garnered a deal with like vacation rentals places or something like that. So the high ticket,
They gave them like I see.
some kind of a resort and some other crazy shit. So this is what it takes to do these 30Xs.
That's the
Like,
lawnmower. That's the lawnmower is the resort, if you will. You remember that from like Hermosi talking about giving away free lawnmowers for the gym membership? Did you catch
yeah,
that?
it was like a distraction. It was like they knew they were always trying to sell this one. And then this one was a decoy. This is always a
Which is
decoy.
it's an absurd amount of money that like would anybody off, but the next monthly is somewhat affordable. Got it.
And
I
so
could see them in that consult almost having notebooks and being like showing before and afters of like what their current session is going to do versus what's going to happen if they take like 16 I guess what would they call them, doses maybe,
vials, like 16.
vials. Yeah, because that's how they generally do it, isn't it? Like vials, like
Mhm.
half off X amount of Botox or something, because I know it's like vials and it's not like too much, but there's always a huge quantity. So I could see someone like doing that in the console, being like, hey, this is what you're getting today. This is kind of what you're going to be looking for. But if you want long-term results, like this is what happens when you take this amount of vials. And this is like the last person that walked in that got it, the last person that walked in that got it, the last person that got it. Like, so what do you want to do?
So like Tony, where you're at right now, this is like this is the entry level, right? This is what you're accomplishing. But like the sauce is what's going to happen after. So the great thing is that you've been able to figure this out. And this is the part that's like so many people can't even figure this fucking thing out. Now that you figured it out, you just have to figure this other thing out. And so the crazy thing is most people that understand the big picture, all they care about is where you're at breaking even. So right now, I don't know what your number is. Maybe you're at like a 2x, 3x, 1.5x. I don't know what you're at. But like most people, the like beasts of the game, they can if they're happy to break even, but they're even happy to spend, $1 and make back 30 cents. That's what I'll tell you. Like the big fish, they'll spend $1 to make back 30 cents. So they'll spend $1,000,
Fucking smart.
make back 300 bucks. And they're okay with that because this is where the money is.
They'll know 1 out of every 5 people will take that high ticket thing, so they don't give a fuck how much they spend on the front end. It's fucking smart.
And so that's, you got to be thinking about this stuff right here, Tony. This is what separates the boys from the men. It's hard. It's not easy.
Nothing good comes easy, you know, most of the time. So, and nothing has come easy, you know. We've definitely like earned every fucking client, I feel, you know. But it feels good. I mean, it feels good to be like overwhelmed with the like amount of people that we're not quite turning down, but we're kind of like being like,
Here's-
nah.
I
You
will
know?
tell you, I will tell you, all right, here's one other last thing I'll tell you. And this is like just important just to know the game, right? I'm not telling you it's the right thing or the wrong thing to do. I'm just telling you the way the game is played. You have one of two options. You can either do everything that I just said, which is figure all that stuff out. And what you're playing for is you're playing for the longevity game. Or the other game you play is the game my competitors pay, Master Filmmaker and some of these other guys that charge like 15 grand up front. Why? Because they know that once they extract the money from you, it's gone and that's it. And they don't care about reselling you. Those are the two games that you can play. Either you can play the game of charging somebody 1K, 2K, 3K up front, and then make a bunch of money because you know actually what the fuck you're doing. This is what Hormozy did. He actually said, if you watch his stuff, he would say, even though his game plan was to sell his thing for like 30,000, 40,000, whatever it was, he would let people in for $1,000 because then he would do the fast cash injection. And then he knew how to make them so much money that they would pay him 30 grand over time. And so this is why he preaches so much about hard work and all this stuff, because that's what it takes to do this. Right. Or you could do the scummy bag way route doing it. And, maybe that's even the right way. I should say it. Maybe I should just appreciate the game for what it is and just say, like, that's just the way to play a game, which is figure out how to charge people 15 grand up front, which this just means that this is, you're good at getting people results. Okay. You're getting people results. This, you're good at marketing and selling.
Doesn't X come once we have the data to do that? I feel like we don't even have the data to even think about doing that. Obviously, that would be bullshit.
You can make it up. I'm not telling you what is click or click. I'm telling you, you could create the best marketing, tell people that you make people 100K and convince people and sell the shit out of them, and you charge them 16 grand up front and get them financing. You can do that today. There's nothing stopping you from doing that today. Granted, if you got people better results, it would be easier for you to convince them. Yes.
Is that not how like licensing kind of works ultimately though? Or is licensing still catching them on a lower ticket and then getting them to that? And
I wouldn't,
in your mind.
I wouldn't use the word licensing, done for you, done with. This has nothing to do with done for you, done with you, licensing, any of that. This has nothing to do with that. I'm just simply telling you, you can charge high ticket up front, or you can charge medium ticket up front. The goal is LTV, right? Make your LTV as high as possible. You have two ways of making the LTV high. One way is getting people in affordable, whatever. Another way is just like charge a fucking premium.
Mm-hmm.
That's
so it's basically just being like, yo, the cost of the program 16K, or you need to have a strategy that can take someone's LTV from 1K to 16. You know what I'm saying?
So you charge somebody 16K up front, like my competitors, they charge like 15K up front, but they know only a small percentage of people are ever going to take them up on the offer. So these fuckers are probably spending like 7.
It's a lot harder to do because if you think about it, the amount of fish that you'll find that have the 16K and willing to invest is going to be a lot harder. It's going to be small, and you're going to have to pay a shitload of more money to find those people. Versus what we're doing now, it's like, yo, you want free Botox? Everyone wants it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how can I almost reverse engineer this to turn this free Botox thing into like a $600 thing, right? And then getting as many of those people in there as possible.
It's like my competitor's strategy. So let's say like this is all of the video marketers in the world, right? Yeah. And let's say the X represents like people that are gullible and or going to spend 16K. All right. And then let's say these dots represent everybody else that's willing to pay like $1.47, right? And so there are way more of these fuckers, right? So the strategies that I've implemented is I've decided to just go after these fuckers. And I've decided to get so good that I can turn each of these people into an X.
Exactly.
And that means you have to actually get good at what the fuck you're doing. Versus these people, you're going to sell the shit out of them. They're not going to buy from you again. It is what it is. And then, you know, you run the business to the ground eventually. You run the business for 2, 3 years. Eventually, everybody hears you're a piece of shit. Word goes around. Nobody else is buying from you. That's it.
But the copy tends to find people that are in the dot anyway and not the X. So you kind of have to be the one to turn them into an X. If
You
that
have
makes
to,
sense.
if you're asking for a lot of money up front, there's a lot of qualification usually. So like I, for example, tried to funnel hack Gym Launch, and I couldn't get as far as I wanted to because I was on 3 fucking calls before I even made it to the thing, to like an actual call. So I had like a pre-discovery call, I had a discovery call, like I had all these things. So there's like a whole fuckload of hoops you got to jump through. Like that's one thing. It's just complex, and it's like your cost per acquisition. Like I don't know, man. Like it's different for other people's business, but like in terms of yours, sometimes it's scary to spend like 20 grand to make 30 grand. You know what I'm saying? And like
Absolutely.
if you're spending 20 grand, it's like you're, I mean, obviously you can spend 20 grand low ticket or high ticket, but like depending on volume as well, like that's another thing. Like you get a shitload of volume with like the low ticket stuff versus like the high ticket stuff. You fuck up once, like one sales call, dude, like you just missed 16 grand, right? Versus like low ticket, you have way more opportunities to kind of figure stuff out and manipulate it so that when it does work, you can take 1 out of 5, 1 out of 6 people predictably to where you want them to go. So I think that's one thing as well. But like, I don't know. I generally try to stay to high ticket first, just because it's a lot easier. Like 16K obviously is a lot. It's hard to swing for most people, but I think if you have like a 3 to 5K thing, that's like, oh, that's pretty, you know, you can do that.
You're not doing much of a done for you model, either of you guys anymore. You just kind of do it initially.
Fuck
dip
that.
out.
I mean, there's some stuff that I do like for my clients, but most of it's more of like a done with you.
Okay.
But
Cool.
you have to for you. Like every single thing I teach, I've done it myself. Right. So I was done for you for myself. And then I went to done with you for you guys.
Let me just ask one more follow-up, and then Kyle is back, so that's awesome. Would you have any reason to be doing any more done for yous where we're at in this stage? Knowing what we have, this whale, and we're doing the done for you for them, would you try to take on anybody else for any other reason? Data, like sales calls, etc., or just like plain coaching them?
I think you guys should do done for you because you need to figure that thing out. You need to go from ad to offer to like what are your upsells, downsells.
Figure out, another thing on top of that is like figure out like 2 or 3 different ads. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you guys are doing that currently, but like figure out a couple.
I mean,
Different hooks, you mean?
I don't
No,
know.
not hooks. I'm talking about like completely different offers. Not like, I'm not saying for you, but I'm saying like for your clients.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe, right? Maybe. The main thing is just, I would say LTV. Increase this. How do you do this? That's it. That's the only question to be asking yourself. That's it.
So it's
So-
either, yeah, on the back end, trying to build, I think like the biggest thing is like that membership program. Like I think that will help you solve all your issues. You can figure out how to do that. And then if you can solve that, figure out different ways of avenues of getting them there.
There you go. So I
Yeah,
would agree.
That's what I meant, Koshi, but I see what you're getting at.
If you have an offer for like grooming, if you have an offer for nails, like again, I don't know what like I actually maybe you can run through that like really quick. Like what are you doing at the ad level? What are you selling for these people? Like is
So
it-
there's a couple different like flavors. There's, mobile nail trim, which is just basically like just what it says in nail trim, 25% off that. And then the same conglomerate, same franchise is doing like a 20% in store off grooming. The one caveat is there's no grooming on the mobile nail van, which is actually kind of helpful. They thought that was going to be like a big Achilles heel, but it just helps me drive the ticket item higher. So I just like throw them to the in-store instead, right? So like, oh, you want like a full bath and grooming? That's cool. Our store's 8 miles away. I can give you 20% off. Do you still want to do that? Yeah, of course I do. So they hop in that, and the ticket item doubles, which is really cool. Other people is just like $10 off for the month of May, you know, Memorial Day special, $15 off here and there.
But
It's nice. We have
the ten
good.
dollar off, the $10 off, $15 off, that's still a lead form. You're still calling them. You're still like, where are they getting $10 off of? What's
A grooming, the grooming service.
okay? So that was my question. So you have grooming and then you have nails, or what was it? Grooming and
Let's say like in-store grooming or mobile grooming would probably be the easiest two to configure.
so those
So like
that's
yeah,
grooming,
come to you or come to us.
but it's just grooming. There's nothing like nails. There's no like getting rid of your fleas. There's nothing. There's just
Oh
grooming.
yeah, dude, there's like so much. There's like upsells like crazy. There's like nail filing, which is for like people who have like leather seats and they don't, you know, it's like you proper like salon filing. There's toothbrushing for nasty breath. There's like de-smelling packages for people that like have dogs that have gotten into skunks or something like that. You know, I can go on. There's anal gland stuff we can talk about, Koshik. What do you want?
So so not that for sure. Um, So, so, so those are my question is like the front end, not necessarily the middle end, but the front end. So are you selling those kinds of things on the front end right now, or just grooming stuff on the front end? On like the ads, what are the ads selling?
The ads are just selling like grooming,
Okay.
period. It's very generic. Like for the month of May, come in for 20% off and you know, enjoy 20% off your and like a lot of them are like trying to grab first time customers, but I've instructed the client to like accept anyone regardless, like even if they're like a 30th time customer and they see the ad, just treat it like a coupon, right? Or coupon, depending how you say it.
Okay. So I'm gonna try to help you here. So I'm gonna show you what we're doing with Aman, and this can kind of get the wheels turning. Whenever you think of like the ad all the way to the very end, you want to kind of view them as they are related to each other. Okay. What I mean by that is, okay, I'll give you an example. 7-day video marketer is getting leads. Get leads. Okay. So the middle offer is get results for clients, or else they will fire you. That's the CMCC. Then after that, there's coaching, which is implementation. Then after that, there's profit share to scale, build team, and all these other nuanced things, right? So if you kind of view it, like I already, again, it takes time to get here, but like I know everybody wants to be here. So people come in with a lead problem. This makes sense, and then this makes sense, and then this makes sense. It just makes sense. It all makes sense, right? If I look at now Aman's case, there's free Botox, and then there's basically, you know, 2 Botox, free 1 Botox. And then after that, what we're doing is we're selling a membership or high ticket thing pertaining to skin, beauty. Okay. So the end thing, the end thing, the end thing pertains to the front end thing. The people that are going to click on the ad have a skin thing. They have a skin problem that they're trying to solve. And so this package is like, if you really give a fuck about your skin, then you're going to go for this package. So we start with the end in mind. We start with this. You know that this is what you want to sell, and then this is just bait to get there. So
That's
I
key, by the way. I just want to say that really quick. That's so fucking key.
start with the end in mind. I start with the end in mind. I know that this is what I want to sell. I know I want to partner with people. And so the question becomes, okay, what front end thing would the right person want to buy? Is the front end person going to want to buy a course on like starting a wedding production company? No, because that person's not going to ultimately buy this thing. Is it a music video thing? No. Is it selling video strategy? No, because it's not going to end up doing this. I'm not going to sell anything that doesn't help me with this. So down the road, I'm going to sell something for like sales mastery. And then that's going to lead to like, okay, well, you can learn at sales, but if you don't know how to get people results, then, you know, they're not going to be whatever. I'm going to ultimately figure out how to get people here. I'm going to swap out this course. And this is what Mason was talking about when he said different offers. So one day when 7-day video marketers ran its course, I'm going to create another course. And it's ultimately going to do the same thing. I'm going to rinse and repeat everything. Now, the Botox thing. Now, the reason I'm going over this with you is we're doing the same thing. Copy, paste. And what it's going to be is it's going to be something like free Ozempic, and then it's gonna be like 2 months paid, 1 month free. Are you guys familiar with Ozempic?
Luckily not. I don't know.
Isn't it? Yeah. What's
Shit.
that?
Or
Sorry.
weight loss.
So
Okay.
offensive to use Ozempic. I assume it's probably bad for you.
Ozempic is basically this new Hollywood fab thing where like a lot of people are losing weight. I don't know if you noticed. A lot of
I was gonna
celebrities.
say, isn't it like a I don't know what it is. It's like a pill for weight loss or some dumb shit. Like,
Yeah.
Here for COVID.
bro,
Yeah.
how many of these are they gonna whatever? Keep
No,
going.
it's not, no, it's actually really good. It's like an A2P antagonist or something like that. It actually works. Like it's actually really fucking good. So there's a hormone that's secreted in your body whenever you're full. And what happens when people inject this is it tells the body they're always full.
Their
So
limit is it's like a fake, it's like a placebo of like their
Yeah,
hunger. That's
I
kind
probably
of
actually need that shit too.
Wegovy, Ozempic, it's huge. It's like huge right now. And so people, if you typically eat a burrito, when you inject yourself with this, you're going to be done with like three bites. And so many people in Hollywood, so many people around the world are taking it. So anyways, the important thing to understand is this. Remember, we start with the end in mind. This person right here is trying to get beautiful skin. This person right here is trying to basically look fit. So what are we ultimately going to sell them? Fuck the front end. Fuck the front. I think about the front end later. What we're going to do is we're going to have something like a membership, which is like a coach.
fitness coaching. Yeah, I was gonna say fitness coaching would be perfect. Dietitian, something.
Everything, a super high-end package thing that we're going to sell for like 5 fucking grand every
Oh.
6 months. It's going to be crazy, right? So the right person who's been suffering with weight loss and all this stuff, they're going to want that thing. They're like, yeah, dude, I'm willing to pay 5 grand for 6 months. And then if we get them on 6 months and we get the amazing results and we say, hey, look, this is a lifelong thing. Do you want to keep looking this way? They're gonna be like, fuck, I've been fat all my life for the last 10 years. The last 6 months have been the best years of my life. I've attracted all these people. Yes, I'll pay for another 5 grand for another 6 months. And now we've got a lifelong customer. And so now this is where the 30X comes in. It's the 5,000 every 6 months. And so what do I lead on the front end with? The Ozempic. Why? Because I know that 1 out of 50 people are gonna become this person right here. That's how I'm thinking through
Yeah.
this.
The offer's so good. Plus, like you gotta think about it. Like you could advertise your weight loss program, or it's like, hey, take this pill and you're gonna lose weight. So like the time delay, the effort of sacrifice is super low. Like it's super quick results. The likelihood of success goes up. Like it's perfect.
So free
you-
grooming, and then that turns into like two grooms with the next one free, essentially. No.
Yes, 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 yes. But remember what I said and what Mason said. You're talking about you're talking about the front. You need to be thinking about the back.
Yeah, so it'd be free grooming into like, but that actually is a free grooming with the purchase of another grooming, let's say, but that really is ultimately trying to get us to the membership.
Yeah.
Is that yeah?
And so now you have to craft the membership together in a way that the right person. So whoever wants grooming, like I don't know what whoever wants grooming, what is the ultimate thing that they're going to pay for 5,000, 10,000? I don't know what that package is. I just don't know. I don't know enough about the industry. So you have to be thinking, how do I craft together a membership that people are going to pay 5 grand for every 6 months, or they're going to stay on a $200 per month thing because it's so valuable to them. So you have to figure that out. Once you figure that out, well, then the front end becomes easy.
Here might be a little bit of a hint or a tip, but it's like, how many dogs do you have? Most people that own dogs have more than one.
Is it starting to kind of help a little bit, Tony, with like thinking this through?
Yeah, absolutely.
Back end. This is the magic sauce. Work backwards.
And the cool thing is they already have I haven't really investigated as much as I should have, but they have a membership for the one big place for our whale. So I kind of just probably can look at theirs and mimic that a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
And obviously sell theirs for them would be our ultimate thing. I haven't really shared that with them yet. I wanted to show them that we're getting results, which we are. I mean, they're really, really pumped. But like you kind of woke me up a little bit with that whole like, hey, 4 to 5x is like doing okay. I was like, fuck, we need to get that under control. So
yeah, but I mean, bare minimum, the way I would look at it is this: is like most videographers are just, again, I spoke with Cam about this. So many videographers are just coming from a place of like, who's got deep pockets, and it's just I call it sugar baby mentality, and you can't have that. The way you want to view it is like, after my efforts, are they making at least 2x on cash? So if a business is spending $5,000 with my service fee, with ad spend and everything, am I netting them at least $10,000 after their cost of goods, expenses, employees, and everything like that? Am I helping them make them double their money? Then if so, fucking, I got them for life, dude. Yeah. But if you're barely making somebody enough money, man, yeah,
That's
gonna
what
drive.
we're doing across the board, basically. You know, like we're barely making it on every single account, which is to be expected maybe at first.
Yeah, it's expected first. I mean, I'll tell you right now, man, like, dude, I told you this already. I spent, it cost me $80 to sell something for like 150. And then after my expenses, go high level, everything, like, dude, this barely profit on the front end. I would make like no money. And that's normal, right? It's normal. It's all about the back end. So it takes time. You'll figure it out.
Sick.
I like the
That was
idea
nice.
of like you looking into their existing membership and starting from there. That's a really good idea.
Cool, cool. It was nice to have an intimate conversation. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm glad we didn't go down the anal glands route. I'm not sure how pleasant that was.
That's next week. That's next month. Next month we're going to anal glands. I'm going to have an anal gland funnel for you to look over.
And take your
An
time with
anal gland funnel. All right, I'm going to mute myself.
it. Okay. Kyle, we were just shooting the shit while we were waiting for you. So
Yeah, sorry about that.
you're
You're
good,
good.
man. It was a good conversation. We spoke about pet anal glands and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I got
Ozempic.
that.
Basically, we just talked about drugs.
I missed some good stuff here.
We're helping Tony think through like building his increase in lifetime value, which is actually like a concern of yours, Kyle, for jujitsu. So I think if you got some of that conversation. But yeah, man, what's going on? Sounds like you kind of maybe just want to talk through like niching down.
Yeah, that's mostly it, I think. You answered some of my questions I had on the onboarding stuff, because like I was supposed to onboard my guy last week, but he was just too busy. He said we got to do it this Thursday, so that's no problem there. But yeah, so with niching down, like I don't know, like it's it's stressful because I feel like you don't want to put all this effort into something and then it not be the right thing. But I guess you don't really know until you get into it, right? So
Go ahead, Kyle.
I was just gonna say, so like obviously I was kind of back and forth on the jiu-jitsu thing, right? Like seeing Jorge kind of go through his stuff, and he mentioned some things, and like I think it's cool because that's something that I like to do. I do it all the time. Like in an hour, I'm supposed to go train, and like I'm probably there at the club probably 3 times a week, 2 or 3 times a week. It was more before I had all these kids, so it's been a bit of a balance with that. But so I think that's cool that I'm passionate about it. It's something that I do all the time. However, it does seem to be like when I was looking at how many jiu-jitsu clubs are there in North America, it was like, the numbers weren't as high as I thought they'd be. And maybe I'm wrong on this, but is Jorge just doing like martial arts in general, or is he just specifically doing? Yeah. Okay. Cause then the field gets a lot bigger. Then I could see maybe, yeah.
Like there was even Tony, they have a gym, and their gym, he ran like a kids offer for them. He's like, I don't want to put the words in your mouth, Tony, if you want to quickly explain, and it's crushing. And so something like that would work really well for you as well. If you have like kids camps, like I feel like very similar. Anyways, Tony, if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I think Mason and Korshik even were like, damn, we could build this ourselves, because like you could literally show a kids camp onto somebody not running a kids camp and like book them very quickly, I think. And it's a high ticket item. I mean, the whole summer is like $3,000, I think, and they booked a few people, like not paid in full, but they deposited. So there are some, like, I think what I'm starting to learn is that thinking outside of the box and pitching them something outside of the box, pitching your clients something outside of the box that can make them money in a way they haven't thought of, is like such a huge win. And it's like experimental already for them. So they have a little bit more like leeway with the process too. There's like a little more allowance for mistakes and stuff like that. But I mean, they've been a great client. We've had them. They were our very first FVC client. We landed them, I think, in January, and they're still with us today, which is awesome. We shot a video commercial for them, and we ran like a 6 week weight loss thing for a while. Booked out a class like this, like 2 or 3 classes that they had, like completely booked those out, and they were pumped. And they were like, "Well, how do we keep this going?" And they were like, "Well, we're doing these kids camps. What do you think you could do?" And I was like, I'm honestly never tried anything with kids before, but we can." And it was like printing right away. It's been a little like inconsistent, but I will say they made like $4,000 in the first week, and we probably spent like $100 on ad spend. They were like,
yeah, it's really good.
right, right. So the following month was like really easy, like, "Hey, you're up for renewal." And it was just like, right, okay, cool, let's keep going. Because like summer is right, like we're gonna be running through that all summer. Once winter comes or fall, I mean, I guess Mason might harp on that. Like there's probably a lull in terms of like gym memberships and things until you get to January. But yeah, I mean, I think the initial like just bringing in more jujitsu clients would be my sell, and then ultimately knowing in the back of your head that you're going to bring this like high level offer to them uh would be really really beneficial, I think, right? So like you're like, "All right, I'm going to get you more clients." And that's what anyone wants to hear anyway. That like any business owner off the top of their head, I've noticed like all of our pet groomers wouldn't want to hear some like high level conversation about like the macro level, how we're gonna like build memberships and shit like that. They wouldn't like that. They want to know that like next Monday they can get booked up completely with like 8 dogs in their van, right? So you speak to
Yeah.
them on their current level, which is like, "Hey, I'm gonna get you more guys on the mat next week," right? And then as soon as that happens, then you can sell them on the like, "All right, here's the higher level picture. We can do kids camps, we can do blank, we can do workshops, we can do retreats." Right? Retreats is like a really cool one for jujitsu as well. Kind of like yoga, but like jujitsu instead. I'm sure there's like a market for that. So, but like I do think, and those guys can comment on this for sure. Like I think that when you're initially making those sells to that client, you have to sell them what they're used to selling themselves. So like you're getting them, butts in the chair for a hair salon, or butts on the mat for a jujitsu. But really, ultimately, what you're trying to sell is like a bigger picture thing. So
Yeah,
that makes
that makes sense. I have some ideas already because I kind of thought selling memberships might be a little bit difficult, but actually you just mentioning that, like I know like our club specifically, they make a lot of money off the kids. So there's parents, they just like, we have waiting lists because they can't get their kids in, right? So there's like a waiting list on that. And so yeah, something like a summer camp sounds like awesome. And then maybe like if you're selling like a campaign like that, like summer camp, and then you can talk to the jujitsu employees or whatever and say like, "Hey, we'll bring him here, but it's up to you to try to like maybe sell them to get the memberships, but we'll get them in for summer camp for these months," or whatever the campaign might be.
awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, my head's kind of spinning with some other ideas, but
In terms
And
of
that
Mason,
makes a lot of sense.
Mason, we asked you a question during the call that you might not have caught, and what do you do during the fall to mitigate like the weird lull in gym memberships? And like there's no like motivation. So like get fit for your autumn photos at like the pumpkin place, right? Like how do you keep people going through that like funnel in like the gym or jujitsu or whatever world of like physical
I've never really experienced a too big of a dip in my ads in terms of like seasons. Um, so I guess I can't relate on that, but that's probably because I use a lot of different creatives and a lot of different types of offers. You know what I mean? So like just using seasonal offers, like you can leverage fall. You know what I mean? You can leverage a lot of different stuff. You can leverage Valentine's Day. You can leverage all these types of different things. Um, but I mean, generally the offer is usually around the same. Where I find the most is like mobility, like weight loss and mobility is like the two things in gyms that work really, really well. So like a lot of people have shoulder pain, knee pain, just restrictions in general, back pain, all these types of things. It's kind of like, hey, let's give you a free corrective session so you're not feeling those day-to-day pains again. And the next thing you know, they're selling them a weight loss program. Like that's just a way of getting people through the door. It's just different angles of like what people are looking for.
Thanks. Good enough.
Kyle, in terms of the niches that you selected, man, here's one thing I'll say, just about myself is like, dude, I would make so much more money if I made YouTube videos. And Mason tells me people tell me to make YouTube videos, and I just fucking can't, dude. I just can't. You can't pay me enough to make YouTube videos. And the reason I don't make YouTube videos is because I can't make YouTube videos about videography because I can't speak about videography because I don't really do videography. I don't teach videography, right? And so I'm not passionate enough about it to pull. And the only thing I could do is I could sell SM. I could create videos about SMA because I'm passionate about that. The problem is that my unique thing is I'm selling SMA to videographers. So if I go on YouTube and I create YouTube content for videography, I have nothing I can do until I create like funnels and ads and stuff for traditional videographers. If I create traditional funnels and ads for videographers, which I'm considering doing, and create a course for that, well, then now it makes sense to create YouTube videos. Or I could create SMA videos, but I don't have any product for them.
Let me know if you're doing that, Kashik, because I know someone that's running ads and he's making like 20 to 40K a month, just straight videography stuff.
The follower guy, right? The guy in Utah or whatever.
Dobson, Luke Dobson.
I think you told me the white kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what kind of videography stuff is he making?
What's that?
What kind of videography stuff is he making? Making 20, 40K?
So he's a videographer and he runs ads. So he's figured out how to run ads to basically get his calendar booked with people that want video gigs. And so it's video. He's not selling advertising, he's selling video. So yeah, 40K is great. The thing that you probably don't see underneath the hood is he probably has no free time or he's outsourcing a bunch of stuff. He's a manager.
Teams.
Yeah, so full time probably it's not what you would want to do with 3 kids running around. Probably.
No.
Right.
Dude, Kyle, don't do that.
Yeah. Okay.
So if for example I were to have a conversation with this Dobson guy and get him to create the course material, well then yeah, I'd create YouTube video on like videography and then sell that, whatever he's doing, right? Again, the reason I'm just simply saying this is like YouTube can be a huge thing to make a lot of money. And why am I saying that to you? The reason I'm saying that to you is because you are very passionate about jiu-jitsu. So you are somebody that I'm not telling you to make YouTube, but I'm just simply saying is that if you carved out one day every 2 weeks or 3 weeks to shoot content, batch shoot it, and then have somebody edit it and then post on YouTube for you, that could be a huge source of booking calls, selling stuff online for you, for jiu-jitsu business owners, other gym owners that are like, mixed martial arts and all that stuff. That could be a huge revenue source. Do I see you doing something like that here? No, I don't. I don't think your heart could get behind that. And so this is ultimately, hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm trying to lead you to like why I think you should make the decision that I think you should make. Real estate, I'm not a huge fan of real estate. Lisa and Ralph do real estate. The reason I'm not a huge fan of it is like a lot of the stuff that we're talking about is like you give people a lot of dopamine hits, right? We're able to get them leads and then make sales, right? Just like Tony said, hey, we made him $4,000 in like a month. And so it was easier to re-up versus like realtors, it can take months. Yeah.
Long-term game. Plus, like you can get them leads and stuff like that. But if they're like shitty clients, like not only did they work on this lead for like 3 months, but it's like, oh, you're the one that brought me the lead, Kyle. And it's just like it takes them like imagine if I was like, yo, Kyle, we have the 6-week sales funnel. You're gonna launch it, but you got to run it for like 6 months to get results. You'd be like, yo, fuck that. You know what I mean? Like the reason that the industry that we're in like is super beneficial to us because like we can do fast cash injections. We can do this. We can do all these types of different things. With real estate, it's just super hard because it takes time.
Lisa and Ralph, I'll tell you what they do is Lisa and Ralph do not sell month-to-month retainers. What they do is they sell a 6-month package because if they don't sell a 6-month package within month 1 or 2, they're going to get fired. And so their mentor, a guy named Prob, who built a 7-figure agency, work with realtors, taught that to them. And all they do is they sell the 6-month, 1-year commitments. And what they're doing is literally, just imagine this life. You sell somebody for 6 months, you're just fucking trying to get them not to ask you for a refund.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I don't know if I want to, right? versus like Tony, me, Mason, we're just like, okay, how do we help our client make a win and then celebrate that shit?
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
So I'm not a huge fan of this. Car dealerships, I could have a cognitive bias here, but like I have a friend who owns a car dealership. One of my best friends owns ones, and just I feel like a lot of these guys are already taken. I could be mistaken here, but like I feel like a lot of advertising on a car dealership, a lot of these have like in-house advertisers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have like a strong opinion on this. I have a strong opinion on this one. And with roofing companies, I feel like roofing companies are very similar to car dealerships as well, where like a lot of them have already been taken actually. A lot of these guys
Yeah.
are either running, they're either making a crap ton of money like your guy, they can 4 million, and it's just like they're just like spending money, see how can we make money? And
Yeah.
they don't
Yeah.
even considering an advertiser. And the ones that are considering an advertiser, because they already made so much money, they've already kind of found their advertiser.
The way that I look at it as well is like it's hard to increase the LTV of a roofing company because once a roof is on, they don't need anything for another 30 years. Plus, most roofing companies only have 1 or 2 locations. They're local. So they're not going to drive, 3 hours out of their way to fix someone's roof. So it's like after your 2 or 3 initial months of like getting them results, it's like your churn rate's going to be so high, and then you're going to have to like manage more and be able to get more clients and take more calls, if that makes sense.
No fast cash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. There's no like, what are you gonna do? There's not much you can do, like other than like adding shit that they probably don't do, like leaf gutter, like shit. And that's not gonna bring them enough money for it to make any sense anyway.
I think there's
Yeah. The
potential.
guy. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, but what I was gonna say is like I don't recommend this. I think this is gonna be very challenging. I'm not saying don't do it. I don't have a good feeling in my gut about this one. Um,
Mhm.
I know some people like there's a guy, so there's a guy, his name is something Wilson. Fuck, what's his name? Something Wilson. So there's a guy, his name's something, I forget what it is, something Wilson, and he basically taught Matt Shields and all these really fucking big people. Okay, so he taught all these guys. These guys right here, Matt Shields, he works with realtors. He built like a 300,000 per month agency, and he looks up to this guy named Wilson. And I saw this guy Wilson, within one of the masterminds I'm in, and he was doing absolute shit results compared to his students. And
Hmm.
he was working with car dealerships. And so for me, maybe that's why I'm biased, is like I'm looking at this guy who picked a niche that he's like really struggling in. His students are fucking killing him in terms of results. And so maybe that's why I'm kind of telling you this based off of just my experience so far. Real estate,
Yeah.
that's internal from Lisa and Ralph. And then roofing, we had a guy, his name is Jimmy. He tried to run ads for roofing and he couldn't get results for them. But he was a one-off case. So it's like two could be good. Roofing could be good. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like this could be good, but I know for sure this is good. The problem with this one, there's one problem with this one. The problem with this one is increasing LTV. This one, you don't really need to increase LTV. So the challenge with this one is you just have to figure out how to consistently book sales calls and close deals. That's it. You figure that out, this one becomes a walk in the park, I think. Service delivery is going to be really easy. You're just going to figure out how to generate leads. They're probably going to know how to nurture them. They're going to know how to sell them. This one, you're going to have to figure out how to like revolutionize the industry. That's the choice, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Okay, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about, just to kind of get a feel for stuff, because you guys kind of know this stuff, and and that's honestly, that's kind of what my gut was kind of like a little bit worried about all those things that you mentioned, but I wasn't really sure, so I think it really helps just hearing it from you guys. I mean, in terms of the guy that I work with, they do roofing and exterior, so there's like they actually do they do like masonry work, and they do the gutters, and they do all that stuff. So I think that's probably why their profits are a little bit higher than some of the other companies. And it's just like, because I'm already working with them, like they're already paying me to help them with social media. There's like, I already have an in, so it's kind of like easier. And I think that's where a lot of my niches came from, just because I have all these ins. I kind of know the industry, like with car dealers, but yeah, that was kind of it. Like, well, if I get in on that, like how am I gonna, like make this work? And especially with car dealerships, I used to do radio sales too, and they always had like marketed. I'll walk into the door. It's like, it's hard just to like sit down with them without them rolling their eyes, right? So they did seem like busy and like they're always doing stuff in terms of marketing. So it would be kind of, I think you'd have to really sell your program or whatever with them. But yeah, like, so right, like just after talking to you guys here, the martial art schools / jujitsu seems to be kind of where I want to.
Okay. So I guess
Yeah, man.
so we talked about these two. So I guess like walk me through the pros and the cons of this, and then walk me through the pros and cons of this for you, your personality, your temperament, your skills. What are the pros and cons versus this, and like why are you leading to like go away from this? Again, my job is to kind of give you my 2 cents, but like I don't want to be like like yeah. I'm just here to give you my 2 cents. But like what are the pros, the cons, the strengths, weaknesses, and why you feel like this isn't the best route for you?
Really quick,
Is that
really quick, Kyle, because I'm just gonna go. I gotta grab my food I ordered. The place is gonna shut down. That's why I have to go. I'll just leave with this. All niches suck, bro. Like all niches suck somewhere. Like no matter what you choose, it's gonna suck somewhere. Just letting you know.
Thank you for the positivity, leaving on such a good note.
Yeah, I don't mean to leave.
But
Like, well, she will explain that to you, but like, I'll let you know now. Like, it took me, Kyle specifically, it took me like a year and a half to figure out what my niche was. So I'm not saying like do the same thing that I did, right? But at the end of the day, there's always going to be something that sucks about that niche. And I was trying to find the perfect one myself. And I think that's why I kind of slowed down in picking one, just trying to finding something perfect. But at the end of the day, like the biggest piece of advice is like just pick one and stick with it for a while. When I say for a while, I'm not saying like go and get one client and then like try to figure it out and it doesn't work out. Like take some time, like take 6 7 months, and then when you get your first like 5 clients, then you can make a decision of like, hey, does this make sense to move forward for me or not? So I guess I just want to leave with that if I had to make it more positive and say it was my mistake. Niches do all suck, but I wanted to give you a personal story to help you out and kind of help you make a decision. Just go with your gut and ride it out for a while before you throw in the towel, because I dabbled my toes into too many watering pools, and at the end of the day, I didn't enjoy my time in the pool. So I didn't even get to go in. So yeah, hopefully that helps.
Yeah, it does help. Appreciate that. I mean, I think your niche is actually pretty tricky, especially with the Alex Hormozis of the world, right? Like, there's, I don't know.
Yeah, so
You seem-
they do more like brick and mortar, where I do like online.
Okay.
But yeah, fuck that guy as a competitor. All right, guys.
It's a tough competitor. All right, see ya.
So
Yeah. Okay. So
you were saying,
I
Kyle?
guess it's yeah. So between like you're saying between like the jiu-jitsu martial arts and the roofer, is that what you're saying between those two?
So what I want to do is I want to break it down. So before we talk about jujitsu, I guess we could talk about roofing, just be like, okay, why are you leaning away from doing this right now? Like, what are the cons of doing this? Why would you not want to do this right now?
So the cons of doing the roofing would be what you brought up there, the lifetime value. It seems tricky. And when I had actually thought about niching down, I was thinking about my specific client I'm already working with. So I kind of like categorize roofers into this like exterior work roofers, but they're not all like that, right? So I kind of had that blurred in my mind just because of my current client. So that actually kind of changes something already with the lifetime value thing. So I see that being kind of tricky. Also, like I don't know much about roofing, honestly. Like so some of the cons would be lack of experience there, lack of knowledge about the whole thing. I guess I can't really think of any other cons other than I don't really have like any award-winning like creative in mind for them either. So that's kind of a con. What offer would be there? Like I don't even know what you do for offers for that. I guess when you mentioned it, actually, it's like this. I think I am coming from that videography space where it's like clients who are making a lot of money instantly appeal to me, and I got to like switch my mind to what you were saying, where it's like, no, how can we create money for our clients and get this 4x, 5x, 10x ROI So that was like a factor in choosing the roofing company, because I just knew they had money. So,
Yeah.
so now that now that's more of like a con actually. So, the pros with, or is that good enough, or can you
Yeah.
elaborate more on that?
No, I'm just kind of hearing you out. I feel like whatever is important to you is what you're going to mention first off the top of your dome. And I think that's what's ultimately what are reasons to decide to do this? What are reasons to decide to hop into roofing?
Reasons to do it. Well, an easy way in with the current client. I already know that they're not actually doing digital advertising, which is kind of crazy. And so I'm wondering, how many other roofers aren't utilizing the digital advertising space. Now, this is just my local area kind of thing too, right? So I don't know what that's like across the board. That's a way in. I already know there's an opportunity there, so it might be an easy sell. So that would be a pro. But other than that, I don't think there's much. I think that's kind of like one of the motivating factors for me, because I'm not going to include they have lots of money now in the pros category.
So
Yeah.
I feel like so a few things just based off of everything you said. So in terms of it being a pro that you have somebody, it is certainly a pro because it allows you to have somebody you can kind of get your foot in through the door and kind of figure stuff out and everything. But the thing is, that is not something you want to bank on or rely on. For example, even MJ, he's got like he's got a medical spa and he's considering medical spas. And I'm like, don't go after that. That's your low hanging fruit. Once you figure out how to get results, once you figure out how to like get consistent book calls, we'll go there if you want to. With Tony and Adam, they have a dentist that they can move forward with at any time. I'm like, no, don't do that. So just because you have access to something is not like the number one thing to do is have what Tony and Adam have set up, which is a consistent way to generate leads, book calls and sales calls. That's it. Like, that's the most important thing. So like anything happen with Tony and Adam, but like they will never, assuming Facebook ad doesn't shut down, assuming their ads continue to work, assuming there's enough pet groomers, like they're not going to ever be crying for like, oh, I don't know when my next paycheck is coming. You know what I mean? Like they just have to track their ads, close some deals. That's the most important thing. And so, yes, you have this roofing client, but like that's going to feed you for like a month, or it's going to feed you until they fire you. The number one thing is to have a system set up where you can consistently book discovery and sales calls. And so for me, this was my concern. My concern is I don't know. I personally have not seen people run ads to roofing companies. That was my concern. So client acquisition, that's my concern. So the thing that you feel like is a pro for you, I would say you don't necessarily want to look at it as a pro or a con. The only reason to look at that as a pro is not necessarily to make money, but because you can go in there, test out ads, test out funnels, kind of be in the trenches and just learn. They're a good person for you to learn from. Just like Jorge, he got a jiu-jitsu that he actually trains at. So he runs the ads and he takes the leads calls. It's a great opportunity for him to figure out service delivery.
Yeah.
So I would say that's a pro.
Okay. So.
And it's not a pro that you have somebody that you can get your foot in through the door and then make money. Like that's not the pro. Fuck the money. It's a pro because you can learn. That's the only reason I would say. So that I would say is a pro for you. Is like you have a roofing company, you can kind of get your foot in through the door, learn some stuff. I said that's a pro if you view it from that lens. In terms of like having a bunch of money, what I was saying is like, here's what I was saying is I feel like a lot of videographers, it's kind of like they're fucking operating on crutches. They don't know how to fight. They don't know how to box. Like, they're fighting their entire lives like this. What I'm saying, fight with your hands tied behind your back, learn how to walk without a crutch, learn how to like do the hard thing, which is learn how to make people money. What I'm not saying, if somebody has a bunch of money, you shouldn't take it, right? Like if somebody has a bunch of money, like that's awesome sauce, right? Right? Like plastic surgeons are a great niche, right? Like roofing companies, like these people, some lawyers, they have a tremendous amount of money. Like that just makes your life easier. What I'm simply saying is don't bank on that. That's like the icing on the cake or the cherry on top is what I'm saying. So it's not a con. It's just like that's a nice thing to have. But you must learn how to make some money. Whether they have money or not, you must learn how to make the money. So I wanted to share that as well because those are some things that you had mentioned. So before we talk about jujitsu, I guess like what are your thoughts when I kind of share some of that? And I guess what are some of your thoughts?
I agree with everything you said. Like it all makes sense. The clarification is nice too on those points. yeah, I don't know. I think you nailed it because I can't even add to that.
Yeah, Tony.
The one thing, so I worked for a roofing company. That was like one of my first bigger paid video gigs when I was younger. And the one thing that I see that would trip me up is it's a very similar model in a lot of places as car dealers, where all the salespeople are out on their own, right? So it's kind of like real estate as well, right? You're under Keller Williams, but everyone's kind of on their own. And if that's the case, then it's harder to, and I mean, like everyone's already like kind of vetting for leads, you know what I mean? So it's almost like you would want to work with one specific roofer inside of that, which probably wouldn't work, you know what I mean? Because then you can't like drive leads specifically to that salesperson. So unless you find a company that is like equal share to their salespeople, then there might be some trickiness there too, because um, again, like this business model that I worked for, doing video content for, every salesperson was out on their own. They were almost like a freelancer, and it was up to them to make the sale. And it was just like, some trickle down marketing from corporate, and then, they're on their own kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't particularly like those kinds of again, I'm not familiar with roofing to that level, but if that's what Tony, if that's what that industry is like, where you have like one big roofing company, you got a bunch of sales reps trying to do their thing, that's a little bit tough. Because now the business owner doesn't really give a lot of fucks about you as the agency owner, right? Because they're like, yeah, I got all these people out there, like I got all these other soldiers out there generating leads all day long. Like, I don't need you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So again, I don't, if that's the case, if that's how that industry is, then I would say that's certainly a con because they're not going to value advertising nearly as much.
Yeah, I'm actually not even sure how. I don't think they operate like that, but that could be, it could be something I'm just not sure about. We have a very in-depth conversation about that because like currently right now I'm just like a social media manager for them, and I help them with their Google business profile. So yeah, yeah, that wouldn't be so.
How close are you with your roofing company business owner?
Oh, pretty close. Like I like we text each other. Like I've known him for a long time. We actually met each other on Xbox Live out of all places, like 10 years ago.
Nice.
And he ended up getting into business. I had him on Facebook, and he's like, "Hey, you do marketing? Like, I've been running this business. We just hit $4 million, whatever." And yeah, so I kind of had it in that way. So like it's a pretty close relationship in that sense, I guess. And like they had CTV, which like is a news company, and I know the sales rep for CTV, and I've been helping them like film some content briefly over the last 2 years. And so they're like, "Hey, you do video, like, can you help us film this video for our CTV commercial?" So we went out there, filmed some stuff for them. So have it in that way too.
So the reason I'm asking is like you might want to just have a conversation with them before you make any kind of conclusion, right? You got about a week to make this decision, right? Well, 7 days. And if you want to take longer, of course, take longer. We take 2 weeks if you need to, but like it might be worthwhile just to have a conversation, run some of the things that Tony just said. Some of the theories I have, maybe have a conversation with them, be like, hey, here's what I'm ultimately trying to do. Like, how many business owners, like, would you say like out of 10 business owners are like not running ads that would love like what we're doing here, like honestly, and like really try to get at the core of it, like not get them to be nice to you, but like actually like tell you the truth, where you realize like what the demand is for something like advertising for roofing companies, if this is something you can actually scale up to like 7 figures or not.
Mm-hmm.
So all that to say, jujitsu, I guess, like what are the pros and cons here? Let's like maybe repeat the exercise.
Yeah. So okay, so pros and cons. With jujitsu, obviously passion's there, right? It's something I enjoy doing. It's like takes up a good part of my life. Other pros would be I have some, like I don't know much about the operations, but I got close relationships with the guys who run the place. I have a key to the club, and they trust me to let people in and even go at lunchtime, like whenever, basically. So we have access to that. I could have a conversation with Donnie. He's kind of like one of the owners, and it's a nonprofit, right? So I guess it operates a little bit differently that way, but like they would be happy to share numbers and what they've done, like all that stuff with me. So we were in talks actually. They wanted a video commercial at some point. We just haven't got to it yet. So it's So that's definitely positive. You know, like in Saskatchewan, there's another guy in Regina, 45 minutes away. You know, I could probably pick his brain too. So there's no issue there. And they'd be honest. They just tell me exactly what's up, right? How much money they're making. I'm sure I could get those numbers. So that's pretty cool. And Tony just, you know, he gave me some ideas actually when he was talking about like summer camp and stuff like that. So I feel good about, you know, some ideas for creative and things like that. And maybe some offers too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would cons be?
Cons would be what we briefly talked about. You know, there's and I never thought about it like this, but like I think I might have to generalize it more martial arts than just specifically jujitsu. And I don't know what that looks like. I might need help with that. So that would kind of be a con. You know, not as many schools as I thought. That's kind of a con. And then I guess like lifetime value is there, but like for me personally, I never made a large investment over $500 something jujitsu. But then again, I also never signed up for like a cool seminar or camp or something like that. Actually, we've done seminars, but they're usually like $125. Like I've never heard of a $500 seminar, right? So, but maybe with like some big names that, you know, people would pay for that. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the big thing is just like it's just about how much money you can make your clients, man. As silly as it sounds. That's it. Like if you make them a bunch of money, then you make a bunch of money. That's it. And that the only thing I've seen practice here is that. That's the one thing I'm seeing. And so if you do that, then you can. And it's like it can be done. The average gym, you know, they make 16 grand, the business owner pockets like 1 grand. Hormozy figured out how to make them a crap ton of money. So it can be done. You just have to figure it out. Right. And that's why, you know, he gets paid what he gets paid. And so I look at you and I just based off your experience, like I believe you can do it. I believe you can figure something like that out if you put the work in, if you put the effort in.
Yeah, I feel good about it too, actually. And like I mentioned in my notes there, you know, tons of celebrities, they just don't shut up about jiu-jitsu recently, right? Like some big names like Dana White, you know, Joe Rogan, you got Tom Hardy, Mark Zuckerberg, right?
Yeah.
Facebook guy. So I mean, all these guys are competing in tournaments, and or I don't know about Dana White, but the other guys are. So it's like, you know, there's lots of kind of leverage there.
Here's
like, I don't know.
Here's a suggestion. Okay. If I were you, I would carve out time. So since you've been in here, I came in and I added something to the Excel sheet. So if you come down to any of the sections, welcome, any of them, you come here to click on the Excel sheet. You'll see I added some additional pages. One of the pages is research for niching down. And so these are just some questions to ask. And then this is for service delivery. So for client acquisition, you can have a conversation with this person, which is the business owner or a marketing agency serving the given niche. And then these are the kinds of questions that you can ask. And then when it comes to service delivery, same thing. This page is here. How to get results for your client. And you can ask either the business owner that's running their own ads or a marketing agency that's serving the given niche. So I would suggest, you know, to write, you know, it sounds like maybe make some notes. One note is come in and then download this Excel sheet so that you can have all of these. Step two would be.
Where is this? This is on the.
This is the same Excel sheet you have. It's just updated. And so how do you get there? I'll show you right now.
Okay.
So you just click on any of these weeks. And then at the very top.
Are you sharing my screen here?
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen.
How do I? Sorry, my internet kicked off. That's why I'm on my phone here. How do I look at that on my phone? Not that way. Yeah, just one sec. Oh, you're on your phone. Yeah, almost done. I think it's actually my computer and internet is back on. I'm not. Oh, there I can see it now. I can see it on here.
So,
yeah.
So basically, if you just come inside the course and you come into any of these, you'll notice like underneath, there's like there's always an introduction and there's this section. Just click on
Yeah.
Excel, and then this tab right here is questions that you would ask for building a client acquisition funnel, your marketing, and then this is questions for service delivery. So step
Service
one,
delivery.
yeah, so getting people results. So this
Yeah,
tab
okay.
right here is like for like how do you consistently book sales calls, right? So these are questions that can help. And then this right here is for helping you get results for your client. And so these questions you can ask them to a business owner, you can ask them to a marketing agency you're serving the given niche. These questions you can ask a business owner that's running their own ads or a marketing agency that's serving the given niche. Okay. So step one is simply come in and download the new Excel sheet. And you can use a different email address just to have those questions. Step two is if I'm you, I'm going to go in and I am going to post in some of those Facebook groups that were mentioned on the onboarding. So if you come in here, you come to your onboarding page at the very, very bottom. If you haven't yet, you want to join these Facebook groups. Like right now is the perfect time to join these groups, join other groups, and post in there. See if there's people that are running ads for roofing companies.
Oh,
And
okay. Post in the group. Okay.
post in these groups. See if you can find agency owners that are running ads for roofing companies. And then see if you hop on some calls and just kind of pick their brain. And the third thing is I already went over this. The third thing that you can do, step three, is like just hop on you know, hop on consoles with like your guy that does roofing and your people that do jujitsu and just pick their brain a little bit, learn, make a decision, help you make a decision. And then lastly, so after you do all of those steps, I think I gave you three, then you might come to a conclusion of what you want to do. Here's something else we can do if after that you still want to do something else to be sure. And what that is we can run ads for both jujitsu and roofing. I typically don't do this with people. Like, for example, Adam and Tony, we selected pet groomers and we just went ham on that. But if you want, what we can do is we can build out a funnel for booking calls with jujitsu business owners as well as a funnel for roofing companies. And then we can just see which one is working for you.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Is Tony still on the call or did he leave?
Oh, he's here. He's here.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not sure how to use this cell phone here. Is there a reason you guys you started with martial arts and then you went to pet grooming? I'm just curious why make the switch or what made you want to do pet grooming?
We got our FVC client the gym client was a product of the FVC funnel, right? So that was our very first client. We closed them. It worked out well. We came into this thinking we were going to do something doctor or doctor adjacent, right? So we had a dentist client, as Kaushik mentioned. They were ready to do like a paid in full, and they were like, "Don't do it." So we decided to kind of pump the brakes and see what around dentistry was smart. PT came up. Veterinarian was my idea, right? But the problem with veterinarian after some market research is that they're like 2 to 3 months booked out in terms of leads. So once we came to that information, I just started it was dumb luck that I just kind of looked around veterinary adjacent companies. And for veterinary clinics, there's 50,000 in the United States. For pet groomer brick and mortars, there's 150,000. And similar ticket items and around the same LTV. I mean, obviously, if you get a giant surgery for a dog, it's going to go heavier. But pet groomers with people that really, care about their pets and have dogs that need hair services, not just a short hair dog, but something that has long hair that has to be combed and stuff like that. They're going to average $3,000 to $5,000 LTV, which is pretty solid, right? And their ticket items are pretty low, and they ticked off a lot of boxes. We really took that niche calculator to heart, made sure that had a fast cash injection that we could do. I think it scored around a 24 as well. And then we found a couple people that were making tons of money, not as specific pet grooming, only marketers, but they had a couple pet grooming clients that were crushing it. And then one guy in particular was had this guy in Miami that he was making like 6 figures a month for with like no offer, like zero offer of any kind. It was like, hey, we're pet groomers in Miami and we're posh. And he was still pulling in like 6 figures a month. So that was like the icing on the cake that was ready for us. And yeah, I mean, we kind of found it by dumb luck, thinking we were going to go in with like some sort of doctor adjacent, physician adjacent field. But it just was like a whim, and it was scary as shit, like it still is, to some degree, but like we're finally getting results for them. And I feel like that's the last piece of like the simple puzzle. Getting the owners to us was the first piece of the puzzle, right? Getting the owners to show up to the calls and say, okay, I believe you, you can get me X leads. And then actually physically getting them the leads next was like, so I was like, we might spend $300 on like a $30 ticket item, and it's still not working perfectly across the board, but it's working good enough to like continue forward.
Yeah, that's really interesting, especially when you were mentioning like even your offers like $10 off, like 20% off. I was thinking like, I don't shit, like are those good enough offers? But like you're getting good results, right? Like so you mentioned upsells too.
Yeah, I mean, there's, and I'm like getting upselled by the upseller. Like there's people that are taking them like after we upsell them and like booking them and then upselling them like even more. So there's a lot of room for growth there. And I mean, personally, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Koshik's giving you the right advice. I don't need to give you my 2 cents, but I would say he's very right about roofing and real estate and car dealerships. And, you know, if you want to expand and add a couple more aside from that, go for it. But
Yeah. And
and
my
one
gut's
last
kind
thing,
of
one last thing I was gonna say is I see you're in Saskatchewan and I'm sure there's like zero anything happening around there. We haven't booked a single client in our state yet, aside from the gym owner, the very first one. So all of our clients are in different parts of the country, just so you know. We thought that it would be easy, like, oh, we'll go down the street and create content for these people and all that fun stuff. And we haven't met a single one of them in person yet.
yeah, that's interesting. Like I was kind of worried about that too. Like if I'm running ads in other countries, like how do I guess you just have to outsource all the video work, right?
No, dude, we're just getting their UGC. UGC is where it's at anyway, right? User generated content. Like it's a great time to get out of the video industry. Of course, I can tell you
Yeah.
that too. He probably hasn't picked up a camera in a minute, but like, it's like it's a lifesaver, dude. Like the writings on the wall with AI and people just creating their stuff with their phones. Like between that
Yeah.
and AI, it's like so many industries are no longer dependent on a 60,000 or 80,000 or $100,000 video. And like there's no like longevity in that anyway, right? So to be like what we're doing, and this came from Ahmad and like or Ahmed and Koshik kind of like coaching us through this, like just get them to send you the content. Like literally, like the best selling ads are like gonna be their user generated content anyway, not some like really buttoned up ad for them, even though they think that's what's gonna like run it for them. It's just gonna be some shaky handheld thing that they did like sweaty.
Yeah, and
So
I've seen those ads do really well too, like the really shitty ads.
you don't know you're crossing over into the platform, right? The problem with like our ads are like really nice video content is that you can very quickly see and recognize in your subconscious that you're jumping into like an ad that put money behind. Whereas if it's like almost like the video content that you've been swiping through this whole time, you're gonna give it an extra couple seconds until you hear the pitch.
Yeah, actually, that was a question too I was gonna ask Koshi, because even for this like cartooning guy, like I'm doing a video commercial for him. I was actually thinking of running like we're gonna do a produced nice cool video, but then also I was just gonna do like a little cell phone video, try to make it like really low budget almost, and just see which one performs better.
Yeah. I mean, I always, the service delivery, all information is always in week 4. And so what I always do, I always preach this to everybody is like, dude, just like see what the market is doing and just model
Yeah.
that and start there. And then I'll create some additional stuff to test, but like I always start with the base. So I don't know what kind of ads work in that industry. Like in their own ad account what kind of creatives work, what kind of stuff is working, and then other Facebook ads library stuff, like what is working. Then I would just do that first, and then I would add additional stuff. So that, I know that doesn't directly answer your question of like, hey, I was thinking about doing something polished and some phone stuff. For me, I don't look at polished, unpolished. I just look at what's proven, and I always start with that.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, kind of what I was thinking. Like, I want to still deliver him a nice commercial because that's what he paid me
That's-
$1,500 for.
Sure.
But but then I told him too. I said, I still think we need to keep what you got going on, and we can run stuff next to it and see the differences, kind of thing. So he's on board with it. So that's cool. But I mean, I will say on that note, like when I do see some of these videos with people holding like these stupid microphones in their hand, or they're holding like those stick cameras and they're walking, it's all jittery, and it just like blows my mind that they're running those as sponsored ads. It hurts my soul a little bit.
Well, my question to you is, so that $1,500 video, what was the promise of that? Like that $1,500 video, is that supposed to be used to run creative with? Is that like a video business card? What is that video supposed to be?
Yeah, it's for the creative. So we wanted some variations in creative. And so the $1,500 is actually, we're going to do some photos, and we're going to give them like a couple variations of video.
Okay. So the reason I bring that up is if you're gonna charge $1,500, and the idea was like, hey, I like your stuff, Kyle. I want a free video commercial. I can't get it. But you're gonna give me something for $1,500. And if there's not like a strategy assigned to it, like if there's not like an agreed upon outcome that video is supposed to create, then create anything. In other words, you can create a video business card, a testimony video, something else that's strategic that can be used their website, whatever, or Google My Business or whatever. If, however, you're going to create it where the promise was, hey, we're going to use this for ads, what you have to be mindful of is if it doesn't perform as well, if not better than his existing creatives, that's going to be a very bad look, and he's going to be very pissed off. So that's kind of the main thing I would take into consideration if I'm you. So that's why I'm saying, like, if I'm you, I'm going to go to that shoot with stuff I know is going to already work, and then create that video as well, and the additional photos or whatever. So in the event that one thing bombs, something else takes off and does well. That's the main thing if I'm you.
Yeah. And so my idea was to have a couple different like variations of video for these ads. And so we'll like, maybe what I'll do is like, because I have all the stuff that he's done and what's worked for him. We have those like,
take
we have
what
all
he's
the information.
like take what he's done that's worked and make it prettier and look better. Like you can't go wrong with that. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Is like take whatever if you have evidence that something works, just do that and make it look better. And that way you can't fail and piss him off. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Okay, I got you. Yeah. So yeah, I feel pretty good about that part. I'm just hoping that like the numbers also prove it, right? But we'll find out. Yeah, I forget where we're at now, but
going back to the niche. So if I were to simplify, so as you guys were talking, here's kind of how I thought about it. And hopefully this kind of makes you feel good. You cannot screw up is the main thing to understand. Right? The reason you cannot screw up is because we've kind of sort of already figured out jujitsu. Like Jorge is not 100% there, but he is closing deals. He is profitable. He is getting his client results, right? So worst case scenario, that's what happens to you. Worst case scenario is better than where you're at right now, right? Better than where you're at. We solve the problem. We take where you're at right now and we create a situation where you have consistent cash flow and all these things, right? That's the worst case scenario, right? Actually, worst case scenario is a 6-figure 6-week sales funnel. Then it's going to be the jujitsu stuff potentially, right? So all I'm trying to say is if you explore both roofing and jujitsu, what I'm saying is that in the event that that roofing is even better than jujitsu for you, give yourself the opportunity to do that.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense. So essentially what I'm saying is like worst case scenarios, we know jujitsu works, right? That's kind of like your college degree. We know you can fall back on that. That works all the time. So I'm simply saying is you owe yourself the opportunity to explore roofing in case. You never know. It might be this amazing thing that happens. So that's what I'm saying. Have a conversation with the roofing client that you have, go inside these Facebook groups, post, have conversations and see if maybe there's something there that I'm not seeing, that Tony's not seeing. And then just take a step further. It's to launch ads to both roofing companies and jujitsu. And you might have some magic that comes out of the roofing stuff. And if it happens, great. And if not, we always have the jujitsu stuff. That's kind of
okay.
That like I don't know if that logic makes sense, but that's like a surefire way of knowing. if you're trying to decide between
Yeah,
these
the
two.
logic does make sense. I guess I'm just thinking of like doing that. Would I put in like would I niche down to what I know is gonna work, like the jujitsu first, like get that funnel going and all that, and then make funnels for roofing, or first, figure out if roofing's good, like get the information, and then decide which way to go.
I feel like you could honestly do both at once, right? Like, if you go through have you started going through a Trello? You haven't started going through a Trello, right?
No, I haven't yet. No.
Oh, okay. So this is going to make a lot of sense then. So the purpose of the Trello is to literally walk you through the entire process of like niching down, like very step by step.
Oh, okay. So should I be doing that right away?
So at
Trello?
this point, so now you can start that process.
Okay.
So now that we've kind of sort of decided, I would say again, step one is like still go in those Facebook groups, still do those things I mentioned, and spend maybe 1 to 3 days doing that. And then once you have figured that out, you're basically going to be running through the entire Trello board. And imagine like everything you're going to be doing in Trello, just imagine you're doing it twice, once for jujitsu and then once for roofing.
Okay. Yeah, that was my question too. Okay.
So
Do
for
it for
example,
both.
yeah. So for example, one of the steps in this process is to like write out your scripts for your ads. So you would write out your scripts for, okay. So again, so understand the game plan, connect my research, write out scripts for your ads. So for example, here's like, like we have these ads for you, right? So we have like this one ad and you would basically tweak it. You have a second ad, third ad, fourth ad. So what I'm saying is that you would type up like 3 ads for jujitsu, and then you would type up 3 ads for roofing. And then when it comes to film day, you film the jujitsu ads and you film the roofing companies. And then when it comes to editing, you edit them side by side, and then you launch them all. You can do it all simultaneously if you want. If you want to do one after the other, you can certainly do that as well. It's up to you. What I'm saying is that if you want to go a little bit double time, if you want to do that, you can do that.
It seems a little stressful, but
Yeah.
I am curious of which one, would be better. Yeah.
If you feel like it's a bit stressful and you want to just do one, then I would say like that's an option too, for sure. Like and that might be the better one actually for you, just based off of like just trying to like balance everything. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well,
My concern when it comes, so if you were to do one at a time, I guess what I would do if I were you is I would do, because I know the jujitsu stuff works, right? If I were you, I would maybe do the roofing stuff and then give yourself like a hard like 2 to 3 weeks to see if you can make it work. And then if within 3 weeks you cannot make it work, it's like, all right, screw it. I don't enjoy this. I'm not making it work. Whatever. Screw this. I'm gonna just move on to jujitsu.
okay. I kind of like that.
Either do that. Either do that, or spend the next few days and just say, hey, look, I'm gonna go all into jujitsu, and just go all in jujitsu, man. Again, you maybe going into jujitsu. I know I'm saying a bunch of maybes. It's because I know how important this is. I don't want to like impose anything upon you. I'm just trying to give you options. Like if your heart is telling you just go in jujitsu, dude, just go in jujitsu. You know what I mean?
Okay. I think I just gotta sleep on it tonight, and maybe I'll get back to you tomorrow and I'll let you know what I'm doing. And
Okay.
yeah, I think at least though I should talk to Henry, which is the roofing guy. I should at least just chat with him before I do anything, right? Just pick his brain a little bit. Yeah, and then it doesn't hurt to throw those posts out, like you said, to those groups. I think I should just get a little information, and and then from there, maybe I will try it. So
Yeah. So step one, let's throw some stuff out there and just chop it up with some people and just learn. And then from there, I'll be here if you want to run some stuff, like you want to do both of them, you want to juggle one. We'll kind of figure that out. Maybe I shouldn't even take in the conversation, and maybe we're going too far down the rabbit hole. And maybe we just need to have some conversations first and take it nice and slow.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's simple. That's
okay. How are you feeling? Are we? Am I stressing you out? Are we stressing you out? Is this okay?
no, it's good. It's a good. I'm used to being uncomfortable, right? Like I know that's where growth happens. So that's what I'm expecting. So no, I'm feeling good though. Like this was probably, yeah, like I knew this was going to be hard. Like it's hard for me to make decisions. Like you mentioned, even like tattoos, like working with tattoo, and I thought that would be pretty cool. But like I don't even have one bit of ink on my body because I can't decide. Like I can't be like that's a permanent decision. And it's like even though I like tattoos, I like how they look, but like I have not been able to make a decision. And it's hard for me to like invest money on something like that when it's like I got to make money first.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way in terms of tattoos. So cool, man. Kyle, anything else that comes to mind? I know the wifey was calling you, and we're stealing you away. Anything else that you wanted to go over, before?
No, that good, man. This is really good. It's what I needed. I thank you guys and thanks Tony too for your information. That was awesome.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Happy to help.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Cool.
it's cool to see all these wins too.
Tony's just out here slaying, man. He's just closing deals left and right, making us all look bad.
It's good to have him on these calls.
You look good, man. I'm a spokesperson. I'm a mascot now.
That's
Give
true.
me this tiger outfit.
Yeah.
Get me out there with the like wavy arm guy. Kosher.
Don't ask for it. I'll ask you.
Yeah.
Just use that as a meme. Just like loop me doing that, you know.
Yeah, clip that. Clip that.
When you
I'm happy to be, and I'm happy that it's working out for us. We put a lot of hard work in, and we got a little bit of luck too, for sure.
How are you guys? Guys, it's a good call. Anything else that anybody want to chat about? Any of you guys want to chat about, or?
No, I got 15 minutes to get to the club here.
Okay. All right, guys. If that's that.
Okay. Thanks, guys.